that we were having before on the Charter Review Commission's recommendations to the Town Council. The New Storm Town Council will meet via telecommunications pursuant to State of Rhode Island Executive Order 20-46 dated June 12th, 2020. In order to raise, if you'd like to raise your hand, you can do so on your phone by pressing *9, and you can mute and unmute by pressing *6. With that being said, I will call this meeting to order. And the first item on this agenda is to discuss and act on the proposed revisions to New Storm's Home Rule Charter as provided by the Charter Review Commission and amended per Town Council discussion on December 16th, 2020 and December 21st, 2020. The first items up for review are Section 502 and Section 507, Town Manager Provisions. Mary Ann, if you'd like to have some comment on those.
Absolutely. So 502 and 507. 502 spoke specifically about requiring the town manager to reside in the community in Block Island during their tenure as town manager. There's a state statute that specifically prohibits that we state that in the charter. However, you can make it a contractual provision. So the language that we're proposing for 502 meets the spirit of what the Charter Commission was trying to accomplish. And what we are proposing is taking out the language that was proposed and change it to add a few words, but I'll read the whole sentence. The town council may enter in such agreement regarding compensation, which is already, this language is in, the additional language is benefits and town residency for the town manager as it may deem appropriate, provided that no such agreement shall limit the decision of the town council to remove the town manager. So that's what we're proposing to add. We're just proposing to add benefits and town residency to the language.
I think that's a great solution, Mary Ann.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mary Ann.
Okay. Do you want me? Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you have anything else, Mary Ann?
No.
Okay. Any comments from the council? Keith and Martha?
Sorry.
Mark?
Andre, there is the rest of that, the section
Oh.
502.
It's under 507, so I was waiting to see if they wanted to
Oh,
vote.
you want to do them separately? Okay,
Yeah,
yep, I got it.
I almost jumped in too. Unless they want to do it together, I'll be happy to do them together. No, I'm getting no's. I'm getting heads and no. Okay.
No. No.
One at a time. Sven, go ahead.
I think it's a great add and build. Thank you.
Thanks, Sven. Martha or Mark? Mark, can you hear?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay, thank you, Martha. Mark Emanuel?
No comment.
Okay, thank you so much. Then I will make a motion to present to the electors of the town Section 502 that shall read, employment, the town manager shall be chosen by the town council solely on the basis of his or her executive administrative qualifications from among persons who hold at least a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university or equivalent experience, and with special reference to his or her actual experience in or knowledge of accepted practice in respect to the duties of the office as hereunder set forth. The council may enter into such agreement regarding compensation, benefits, and town residency for the town manager as it may deem appropriate, provided that no such agreement shall limit the discretion of the town council to remove the town manager.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor? Martha?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
And Keith?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. I'm in favor. Motion passes unanimously to send the 502 employment to the voters. 507?
Okay, 507. with the charter provision that the charter commission came forward and the town council has approved to bring to the voters, it talks about a DPW position. And the charter commission proposed that the town manager may not serve as the head of the Department of Public Works. My concern with that, as it was presented, if the DPW director is out on leave, if there's a vacancy for a period of time. So what we did was just added a provision. It still says the town manager may not serve as the Department of Public Works, provided, however, in the event of the unavailable of the head of the Department of Public Works, or in the event that the position becomes vacant, the town manager may serve as the head of the Department of Public Works on a temporary basis until such time as the head of the Department of Public Works become available or is appointed. So if someone's on leave, or if we have a gap, you still have a person in the DPW position.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Council have any questions? Please go ahead.
I just want to say, again, that's an elegant solution to an obvious problem that we did not pick up. So nicely done. Thank you, Mary Ann.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody?
Is this the same language that we have under finance? I had it a minute ago, but I'm just, I'm sorry, I'm not. I didn't do this in time.
Take your time, Martha.
Don't we have similar language into, I thought we had similar language into finance. Existing language. I'm not finding it right now, of course.
It might be slightly different. Hang on, let me get to the fine, because there's one not only in finance, but the other one's too.
At any time that office of, oh, it's fine. I don't like the lack of flexibility, but I think it's better than it was.
Andre?
Go ahead, Sven.
Martha, I'm reading it now. Just so everybody knows, I'll read it really quickly. At any time that the office of financial director is vacant, the town manager, with the approval of the town council, may assign said duties and responsibility to another town employee or an employee interim finance director. So it's a bit different, but I think they have different drivers, just for clarification. That's at 602 of the charter.
I kind of like that language.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that had been considered or not. Using the same language.
You could.
Although that language doesn't say that it could be the town manager, it says the town manager could appoint those said duties and responsibilities to another town.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm comfortable.
Any other questions? Martha, do you want to make a change to that, or?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. So I will move to send to the voters for consideration, section 507, to read manager's department head. With the consent of the town council, the town manager may employ one person as the head of two or more town departments or agencies, provided that the manager or any other person holding two or more such positions shall be entitled to receive only the salary of one office. The town manager may not serve as the head of Department of Public Works, provided, however, in the event of an unavailability of the head of the Department of Public Works, or in the event that the position becomes vacant, the town manager may serve as the head of the Department of Public Works on a temporary basis until such time as the head of the Department of Public Works becomes available or appointed.
Second?
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Mark?
Aye.
Martha? Martha?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute. I'm going against it. I don't think it's a bad, I think it's probably a good idea right now, but I don't like the fact that it takes away what little flexibility there existed and locks us into something. And it also doesn't allow for the appointment of someone else, it appears to be. I'm a little confused. But no, I just, it's a lack of flexibility I don't like.
Miriam, does hamper any flexibility on your part or any town manager's part?
I think, I think the language gets us to where we need to go. You know, like anything else, whether it's charter, whether it's an ordinance, it's once you start living that charter and that ordinance, that something may come up that none of us would have thought about.
Thank you.
So I think we're in pretty good shape, but something may pop up.
Keith, hold on. I'm still doing the call. Keith, are you in favor? Yes, I saw you. I can't hear you. You're on mute, but I saw you. And Sven?
Yes.
Okay, I'm opposed. Motion passes 3-2 to send 507 over to the voters. Next item, Town Council compensation, section 104 and section 405, transparency provisions.
Okay. I'm going to take 104 and 405 separately, and we really picked these two apart, so I want to take it slowly. And also for the council's notice and knowledge, you know, Councilman Stouffer had said, thank you. I really like the clarification you come up with, Marianne. I want to just make it clear. This has not been a one-man show by any stretch of the imagination. Both Molly and Kathy and I have worked on this quite extensively, and it's amazing how the three of us kept sounding off on each other and coming up with a bunch of different things. There's stuff that I never even thought of that Kathy came up, and same thing with Molly. So I just want to just pass that along. So with 104, I could not, I had some questions and concerns. So I thought it would best, I reached out to the chair, Keith, and I said, Keith, please explain to me where you were trying to go with this. And Keith, and I had a good idea of what I thought the Charter Commission was trying to accomplish. And Keith pretty much confirmed that. And like I've stated before, if the charter says we walk two steps, then take 2 steps to the right and 2 steps to the left, that's what we're going to do. So in section 4, the first sentence, I've looked at and tried to see if I could massage it, and came out with, when we talk about in the conduct of all town business, we thought that is everything. For instance, a lot of liquor license come before the councils. There are some licenses that Molly, in her capacity as town clerk, approves, and they don't go to the council. But it says in the conduct of all town business, the public will have timely access from diverse sources. So that particular license that does not go to the council, that is part of the everyday business of the town, we would have to make all that information available. And I don't think that's what the Charter Commission was proposing. So on that particular one, we are proposing deleting just that sentence. And then in the next sentence, what we're talking about, we're trying to put the same language that we've included in other areas as it relates to digital platform. So what we're proposing there, like we've done in other areas, is the town council shall adopt policies to ensure to the most practical and reasonable extent possible, the broadcast and recording of all town council meetings and all meetings with the planning board and those boards outlined or applicable to section 9. So that's what we're proposing there. And then finally, let me make sure I have more of my notes here. And also add, and have been posted to such digital platforms as the council may direct. This is again allowing the council to have some flexibility to change the digital platforms as digital platforms will change. And I think I covered everything there. So that's what we're looking at proposing with that one, to eliminate sentence 1. Sentence 2, that the town council shall adopt policies to ensure effective distribution of materials and information to the public, included by making provision to broadcast and record all meetings of the town council, all meetings of planning and zoning board, and shall plan for the broadcast and recording of the meetings of all boards and commissions specifically described in Article 9 of the charter. And the last sentence, the town council shall ensure the town utilize to the greatest reasonable extent all available, oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the platforms.
Mary Ann, there was one thing I did want to point out. We had talked about going, the reason it says and add applicable commissions is because Article 9 has some boards here that the council doesn't get involved with. They meet, like the sewer commission, the water commission. So we had
School
talked about
committee.
maybe, yeah, we had talked about maybe going through those and picking the boards and commissions out that the council would actually have some control over.
So that's what we were proposing with this one, eliminating the first sentence and then amending the other two sentences as presented. This one was, we took a lot of time with this one.
I see.
And hopefully we've captured what the Charter Commission was looking to do.
Thank you. So you, in the end, just so I'm clear, the alternate language, which we include on the last page of your comments. So do you think section, I'm just trying to be clear here, section 104, you think it could read, shall adopt policies to ensure the most practical and reasonable extent possible that public documents regarding open session agenda items have been distributed to members of the council, planning, zoning, board of review, here at applicable boards and commissions, have been posted on such digital platforms as council may direct, and that's
Correct.
that's the change the only change you're requesting,
Correct.
just to read. Okay. Does council have any questions? Keith, go ahead.
I would just say I think there are a lot of improvements here. I would disagree with removing that first sentence and suggest as an alternative that we put in the conduct of all town council business. Because that's really what we're trying to get at, is the public business of the town council.
Keith, can I make a comment? This is Kathy. I think the next section captures that, where we talk about.
I don't think it does, because I just started looking at this afternoon, but I'm not sure it does.
Well, we say the town council shall, that's in section 3, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure to the most practical and reasonable extent possible that public documents regarding open session agenda items that have been distributed to members of the town council, planning board, et cetera, have been posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct. That's the one I'm referring to.
I see. Gotcha.
Because that captures what you're talking about, the town council's business at meetings.
Gotcha. No, I understand. I'll be honest with you. I was having a little bit of a hard time following paragraph to paragraph, and that's not because anybody didn't do anything right. It's just because it is a complicated section. So thank you. I just want to make sure that there's a seriousness of purpose about broadcasting and recording these meetings, because we are going to get in a post-Zoom mode here, and this is an expectation for access to both live and recorded meetings that really does exist throughout our culture now. And we, I would argue that we're, notwithstanding Zoom, on crazy thing is, but for the pandemic, we would be behind on this in terms of public broadcasting of these things. That is in no way a criticism. It just is, we've had other priorities. We haven't focused on this. And, I can tell you that the Charter Commission felt pretty strongly that it's something that ought to be an area of focus, and there ought to be a seriousness of purpose about it. So, I think and I don't want to speak for other members of the commission, would be satisfied with the language you suggested, provided, there's some sense that, look, this doesn't take much more than a high school sophomore with an iPhone to do a lot of this streaming of meetings and recording and posting of meetings. And I think it's really important. So anyway, I won't go on any more than that, but I think clearly Marianne and Kathy, based upon, I haven't spoken with Kathy about any of this stuff, but I think that they understand where we're coming from. So thank you.
Thank you, Keith.
Andre, if I might,
Go ahead, Martha.
I think one of the things that we hopefully have learned is that it doesn't have to be quite as complicated as it was always made out to be. That we can broadcast. You can't have participation back and forth, but broadcasting in and of itself, we have seen is not a huge deal. I did it one day at a broadband meeting just to prove it could be done, a few years ago. But
I believe that was the ceiling. Right?
And I think that's one of the things that it was the ceiling. That's correct. One of the things that has really held us up has been, and this is what happens. I say this over and over again. We go for the perfect, and we do not get anything done because we're going for the perfect. And I think that's one of the concerns about the specificity that has been included in some things in here. We have to be realistic and get done what we can get done. And if we can broadcast, we're way ahead of the game, and ahead of where we were before the pandemic. If we can do this in steps, we'll get it done. If we have to have all or nothing before we do anything, it won't happen. That's just the reality.
Go ahead, Keith. Thank you, Martha.
I was just going to say, I agree with that 100%. Martha is absolutely right. And, I think if we take this language to mean that we have to install $100,000 worth of cameras in the town council room, that's not going to happen, but there are steps, as Martha says, in between here and there.
Mark, Emmanuel, do you have any
Thank
comment
you.
on this item?
No,
Nothing about digital platforms? Aren't you an expert after this afternoon?
no, I'm going to follow your leads.
All right, so I'm going to go back to this. The alternate language, you have the language of 104 before you. The alternate language that's being proposed by our staff to send to the voters, I'm going to read it again, would read, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure, to the most practical and reasonable extent possible, that public documents regarding open session agenda items that have been distributed to members of the town council, planning board, zoning board of review, here at applicable Article 9 boards and commissions, have been posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct. And that council may direct wording, you remember from other things that we've added. And this, I think, would bring that into conformity with those. Does anybody else have a comment? Is this
Mr. Chairman, I I just have a question regarding process. What is the deadline that we need to approve final language?
We approve it. We're hoping to get that done today because I believe Friday they're going to get brought up to the, well, let me let our town clerk speak to that.
Hi, this is Molly. The deadline is Monday. They have to be in hand upstairs on Monday. I was hoping to bring them up Friday, so I didn't have to, look at if the boat broke down, we could still have the election if there was trouble on Monday. So my wish is to have it completed by Friday morning.
So my only concern, just because of the tight time frame, is this council will need to vote on resolutions with the exact language of the change written out, along with a corresponding ballot question if the actual language itself is not to be placed on the ballot. So it does take a good chunk of time to draft those ballot questions so that they precisely mirror what the changes are. And we do need, the red line, the cross out and underline language of the actual charter changes, all put in resolution format and voted on by the council.
Mr.
And
Conley,
the Board of Canvassers, if I'm reading that right.
Correct. The Board of Canvassers would then receive all of the information as voted on by the council.
thank you for that. Our solicitor has advised us of this, and our town clerk has kind of gotten us up to speed on that. We do plan on, I think, finalizing this today, and if we needed a meeting tomorrow to do that, we were going to have one. So is
that meeting posted?
I'll refer to my clerk.
No, it would be a continuation of this meeting.
I'm not convinced that you can hold a meeting without 48 hours posting to the Secretary of State's website.
And I'll refer to my my solicitor and clerk on that question.
Yes, you can have a continuation, but here's the thing. It's my understanding that the way that we voted, not me, you voted on Monday, adopted that language, and it will be in the minutes. So I don't think we need to vote on it again. I don't think there would be a need for a Thursday meeting.
So
Those votes on Monday were very specific, that this is going to be the language we're using. And Molly has them all, together. So it's my feeling that you don't have to do that again.
I'm not familiar with what occurred Monday. It sounds like there are language edits being made to documents that are not attached to the agenda or public documents. So that would be my concern relative to any changes being made right now. I just don't see where they're posted, and I only bring this up because I'm concerned about the time frame, and it's a very tight time frame.
I think I don't think we've done anything but either agree or disagree to language that was either already in the resolution or language that was proposed and posted. So, and the motions were very carefully constructed in our previous meeting to reflect verbatim the language changes. So I mean, I have no idea about the rules. I mean, what the heck do I know? But it's not about my comfort, but I guess I will say I'm very comfortable that what we agreed to is embodied in language that we've already seen and has been posted.
I mean, I defer to the solicitor. I really just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. I haven't been involved really since the Charter Commission came down on language. So I'm just trying to provide help. It sounds like this is a concern that's already been addressed, and I just wasn't aware of it.
Thank you. For the record, you're Dylan Conley. You're the legal counsel for the Charter Review Commission.
That's correct.
Thank you so much, Dylan. 4949, does the council have any other questions on this? I see a hand up. It's 497-5181.
It's David Lewis.
Hi,
I
David.
have a comment I would like to make.
Go ahead.
First off, I would like, hello?
Go ahead, David.
Okay, thank you. I think that the Mary Ann and the other team, members of the team that worked on this newly crafted language that makes maximum use of the phrase practical and reasonable extent possible, I think has simplified this discussion to a great extent. And, I just want it to be known that I agree with it. I'm happy with that. The other point I wanted to make was twice I think I've heard Andre reference and read only the change to sentence 3. And I want to make sure that we're also discussing a change to sentence 2. So there are two different paragraphs, 2 different sentences that are going to take the place, are going to be utilized in section 104 from what was previously proposed. So I just want to make sure that gets voted on, or whatever it is going to happen next, that there are 2 changes there to be made utilizing that kind of language. And I'm a little bit confused by what Dylan, so moving on to point 3 and then I'll stop. I was confused by the conversation with Dylan because, and Keith, they talked about things that were previously voted, and there were no need to possibly, that it was all agreed with the proceedings of today's discussion. And I don't understand that because we're having a major overhaul of section 104, which has never been, in its newly crafted form, has never been voted on by the council. So help me through that. Thank you.
Keith, do you want to tackle that one?
I think we are voting on it now, are we not?
Yes.
I think the clarification is that we did vote on some things, but not on everything Monday night.
Right. Thank you, Martha. Yes.
Yeah. Andre?
Yeah, go ahead. If somebody wants to clarify for Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, David, this is Sven. On Monday night, we went through a number of resolutions. You can look back on the agenda, and we voted on many of them. Some of them were deferred to tonight for some little edits, and that's what we're going to be going through. But 104 was not discussed was not discussed Monday night, and that I believe we're about to vote on it in proper form so that it can be prepared and brought up to the state on Friday.
Thank you. I was there Monday for that whole Monday night for that whole discussion. I was actually referring back to the December 21st discussion on section 104 when that was first discussed, and at that, my recollection of that meeting is that paragraph 104 was moved to put forward. Anyway, you don't need to.
No.
You don't need to resolve it with me. If you're all happy, I'm happy.
Sven?
I believe, if I can, Andre?
Go ahead.
I believe, David, in the December meeting, it was moved to put forward to Monday in today's meeting, a la that the legal moved. When we say moved and put forward, that was to give it to Kathy, to give it to the solicitor, the town manager, and the town clerk to, review, comment, edit, and that's what we're doing tonight. So in the December meetings, it was really yay or nay to move forward to our legal counsel. And now that's what we're doing today and Monday.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. It was a great question.
Thank you, David. So in light of what David said, I mean, are we reading this, Mary Ann, just to double check? As I read that, the alternate language for all of 104
Correct.
starts, the town council shall adopt policies. It's on page 3. This is the recommendation for the whole of 104, 104. The town council shall adopt policies to ensure,
It starts up above.
okay, the town council should ensure that the town is utilizing to the greatest reasonable extent.
And then also then it goes down, alternatively, the town council should adopt in practical reasonable, have posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct.
So David is absolutely correct that we were missing one half of this.
He is correct.
All right, so let me read that back then. Thank you, David. Let me read that back. So section 104 in its entirety now reads, the town council shall ensure that the town is utilizing to the greatest reasonable extent all available technologies and digital platforms for public access to public information and public documents as defined by state and/or federal law that have been distributed to the members of the town council and members of the boards and commissions specifically described in Article 9 of this chapter. And then it'll continue to read, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure to the most practical and reasonable extent possible that public documents regarding open session agenda items that have been distributed to members of the town council, planning board, zoning boards of review, and you're going to add the applicable Article 9 boards and commissions have been posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct.
Andre, this is Kathy. You read the wrong sentence. It's the top one is being replaced under paragraph 2.
For those of us who are residents in the District of Columbia, we have seen protesters come to our great city. We know what they look like. We know why they come to
We mute him.
Who has the news on?
I'm just wondering if Molly O'Neill can be muted. Thank you. Kathy?
Yeah, so under section 104,
Yep.
paragraph 2, that's the proposed language, and this down below underneath is what we recommend, not the one on the top, the one in the end of paragraph 2.
Where it says alternative language could be.
Yeah, the alternative language could include, it's right above section 405. That is the alternative language for
Right.
all section 104 that you're proposing to us?
There are 2 sentences. If you scroll up to the second page, you'll see that there's a paragraph 2 there, and that breaks down. So what each one of these paragraphs did was it took each sentence of the proposed language. The first sentence was not to be included. The second sentence, which is paragraph 2, was to be replaced by the language which says alternate language could be, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure the most practical and reasonable extent possible the broadcast and recording of all town council meetings and all meetings of the planning board, zoning board of review, la, la, la.
And then it'll go into, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure to the most practical and reasonable extent possible the public documents regarding open session agenda items.
Perfect.
That's it.
Those are your proposed changes. Adding those 2 together, we have all of section 104 as proposed changes so let me read that. So the proposed new section 104 will read with input of our, Ben, go ahead.
Are you making, if you want, you can make the motion in the language, but, because I think you got it.
No, let me just read this to make sure that we all have it. The town council shall adopt policies to ensure that the most practical and extent possible, the broadcast and recordings of all town council meetings and all meetings of the planning board, zoning board of review, and then, the applicable Article 9 boards and commissions, those. And then the town council shall adopt policies to ensure to the most practical and reasonable extent possible that public documents regarding open session agenda items that have been distributed to members of the town council, planning board, zoning board of review, adding Article 9 boards and commissions, have been posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct. Does the whole council understand what we're voting for here?
I do.
The wording of what we're voting for. Mark?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Keith, you got it?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, thank you.
Martha?
Aye.
No, I'm not calling a roll call. I'm just making sure you understand what we're voting for.
I'm sorry. Clearly, I don't.
And Molly, town clerk?
I think that
No, I just-
was an
I just
answer.
I had a dog in and out.
All right, yeah, okay. Molly, go
I was
ahead.
in the middle of moving the dog.
I'd be much more comfortable if you enumerated which boards you were talking about in Article 9. I have them in front of me if you'd like me to read through them.
Please.
Planning Board,
And planning's on, we have town council, planning, and zoning on there right now.
okay, Planning Board, Conservation Commission,
Yep,
Zoning Board of Review,
yep.
Historic District Commission,
Yep.
Library Board is in Article 9, but it seems as though that wouldn't be included here because they have their own governance. Block Island Land Trust is included in Article 9, and we won't include that because they have their own enabling legislation. Police Advisory Commission,
Yep.
Public Facilities Review
Mhm.
Committee,
Public Facilities Review Committee.
and that's one that you appoint, so you can direct them to do things. I mean, it's one that you appoint and you can direct them to do things.
Do we have one of those committees right now? I'm sorry to interrupt and ask that question.
No, there may be, but there doesn't have to be, and there isn't.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Not the Sewer Commission and not the Water Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go back to you and read this back. We are going to include in this language, distribute to members of the town council, planning board, zoning board of review, the conservation commission, the historic,
Yep.
not library, just police advisory, public facilities review committee. Not the library, not the, and not the land trust.
Correct. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Mary Ann Crawford, town manager.
Okay, 405.
No, we have to,
104 was,
I'm just asking you if you're set with this,
yes, I am.
the way it's, all right, so I'm going to make the motion and I'm going to read this back. I'm going to make a motion, I'll make a motion to, knock it off. I'm going to make a motion to send to the electors of the town of New Shoreham revised section 104 that shall read, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure, to the most practical and reasonable extent possible, the broadcast and recording of all town council meetings and all meetings of the planning board, zoning board of review, conservation commission, historic district commission, police advisory commission, public facilities review committee. And further, the town council shall adopt policies to ensure, to the most practical and reasonable extent possible, that public documents regarding open session agenda items that have been distributed to members of the town council, planning board, zoning board of review, conservation commission, historic district commission, police advisory commission, the public facilities review committee, have been posted on such digital platforms as the council may direct.
Second.
Discussion.
Sorry, could you repeat that motion? Could you repeat that motion for me, please, Andre?
I can, I will. You want me to?
I'm sorry. I was just teasing. I apologize. I'm just teasing. That sounds great.
I seconded it.
I'm sorry. It's just so much work. I'm sorry.
Seems like we have, well, whatever. Okay. Just motion made and a motion seconded. Council questions. I see David Lewis has his hand up, but it may be from last time, but David, input on this?
No, I'm all set. Thank you. My hand is down.
Okay, thanks for your input,
And
David.
I'm gonna go back on mute. Thank you for all your help.
Thanks for helping us clarify too, David. It's much appreciated. All those in, Mark,
Aye.
Martha,
Aye.
Sven,
I,
Keith,
Aye.
in favor, motion passes 5-0, 104. Mary Ann, next item,
Okay.
405.
thank you, Marianne and Kathy and Molly on that one. That was a tough one.
104, yeah, 104, we spent a ton of time on, and I won't bore you with the details of how many different iterations that we went through and went through. But anyway, 405, we're not really recommending any changes, just making a notation, except for the inclusion of public comment. The remainder of this section is, for the most part, is covered in 104 and is not necessary. So we just want to bring that to your attention.
Thank you so much. Anybody have any comments on that? Anybody want to make the motion? Because I don't have it in front of me.
What was the
So
public
moved.
comment?
What's that?
I asked what was public comment.
I don't have it in front of me. It's here. If you give me a second, I'll find it, but,
I mean, no, Mary Ann said referenced
It
something.
says
I
that
don't
the
know what it
rules
was.
shall include opportunity for public comment at each regular council meeting. The rules of procedure shall also include, this is where we get into some of the redundancy, include general publication of all public records as defined under Rhode Island Access to Public Records Act in a timely manner prior to meeting. All materials distributed to the town council except where publication of such documents or materials violates state law or will be used in closed session under Rhode Island law.
Okay, Audrey?
go ahead, Sven.
And maybe this is to Keith a little bit or to Marianne, maybe it's simpler. In the past, I know we at quote unquote town council meetings, not work sessions, we've always had public comment on the agenda. But at work sessions, we haven't always had that because it's really a work session and it's really the whole session is a public comment as well as town council comment. This one to me felt like we would then have to have public comment at a work session because those are technically a regular meeting. And I worry that we'd get tripped up on ourselves. So I guess what I'm hearing is that Marianne, you're recommending we don't really need 405 because other than the public comment,
Correct.
it's all included above. And I agree with that. Keith, are you?
I'm not sure I understand that. Are we doing away with with the provision that there should be of institutionalizing public comment? I'm not following because I don't have 405 in my packet for today's meeting, so I'm not.
Right under 104.
Under 104, that's my trouble.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Jeez.
It's literally at the bottom of the page.
Let's
Bottom
see.
of page 3.
I was looking for another document.
No, it's at the bottom of page 3. It's
thank
right
you.
below what we've been reading. And I believe, as I read it, 5 of the 6 lines are sort of embedded and above, but the only one that's not embedded is
Yeah.
the quote unquote.
Well, I'm not sure I agree that this should not be in there. If you want to make a modification to make it clear that work sessions don't have public comment, but I'm not even opposed to that. But we could do away with public comment at meetings, and I don't think that's a good idea.
It's
That's
in
why we
Well, you'd have to-
included it in the charter.
You'd have to, I've got a question about that one. I've got a question about including any one thing that is under the rules of procedure and only one thing in the charter. It just seems like the charter already says we have rules of procedure. And it almost sounds like that's the only rules of procedure. It doesn't, I don't think it even says including other things. I'm switching back and forth in the same screen here.
What Martha's trying to say is that these are already included in our rules.
They are, but the rules of procedure are amendable.
But under all of that, right now, public comment shall be provided for at the beginning of the council agenda at regular meetings.
Right.
And there was a
but
reason for
it's
that.
amendable.
Yeah. Well, of course it's amendable. All of the things are, but if you've got a whole string of things that go in the rules of procedure, you only have one that you consider of any importance. I mean, I think you get into trouble when you start picking and choosing what goes into the.
To me, the opportunity for public comment at regular meetings of the town council is essential. And I actually do think that this, maybe others, I don't have the rules of procedure in front of me, but are super important.
I completely.
And that's why the charter says the council shall adopt rules and procedure regarding the conduct of its meeting.
The rules of procedure are amendable. And this is only amendable every 10 years. And I think it fundamentally embodies a principle that we all agree with and ought to be in the charter.
Ben, go ahead. Thank you.
Question, Keith. I'm right with you, or I hear you. What about sentences? What about sentence 2, which is the rest of the paragraph? I guess my question is 405 really the first sentence?
Sorry. Yes, that's what I think it is now, Sven. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the second sentence.
Right. So this, I'm just clarifying. So
I agree with Marianne about the second sentence. Yeah.
So if we,
Can you, just for the public and my understanding, read that second sentence?
so right now, the second sentence, if you don't mind, Marianne.
I was closing, I'm sorry, I was
No,
closing.
no, the second sentence reads, the rules of procedure shall also include general publication of all public records as defined by the Rhode Island Access to Public Records Act in a timely manner prior to meetings. All materials distributed to the town council members, except where publication of such documents or materials violates state law or will be used in closed session under the Rhode Island law. And the discussion has been that sentence is now already been embodied in 104 that we just approved. And so 405, the way I look at it, and I happen to agree with Keith that I think public comment is a sort of a sacred piece. 405 to me is now the first sentence, which now reads, or has always read, the rules shall include opportunity for public comment at each regular meeting of, I think it should say the town council, but of the council. And so I see that sentence as 405.
I think that's how I'm reading it too, Sven.
So,
Sorry, Martha?
The only point that I was making is you're pulling out one and only one item that needs to be included in the rules of procedure. And when you start putting, it's like the rate schedule that we have. The town shall adopt a rate schedule. And it is for flexibility. And if this is the only thing you think has to be included in rules of procedure, then have at it. But it just doesn't seem like the right way to phrase it. And I will again say I'm not against public input. I'm the one that put it on the council agenda to begin with, way back when I was in the council previously. I do believe it is very important, and it should be defined probably better than it is in the rules of procedure. Although we don't adhere to it very well.
And I think that's maybe the point.
Well, no, the
Mhm.
adherence to it that I'm talking about is that if you put something in, you're supposed to, anything that's put into the council is supposed to be submitted in writing. And it's not supposed to be potential agenda items, which it seems to float into too often.
So, thank you. Let me read the whole, what the motion will be, so I understand it and everybody else will. Section 405, Rules of Procedure. The town council shall adopt rules and regulations regarding the conducts of its meetings. The rules shall include the opportunity for public comment at each regular meeting of the council. A quorum for council meetings shall be 3 members. In the event neither the first nor the second warden is present, the other shall elect a temporary person. Is that what we're moving forward? Keith, anybody?
I'm good with that.
Council? Just so you have an understanding of what we're moving forward. David Lewis, I see your hand up. David?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to, before you get to a vote on this, I just wanted to reemphasize from my point of view that we had this same discussion at the meeting on December 21st when the point was made by myself and Keith that the reason why this was so important that it be embodied in the charter rather than the rules of procedure is in fact that, yes, both documents are amendable, but it is much, as everybody is witnessing here in the last couple of months, it's much more painful and difficult to change the charter than it is to change the rules of procedure. And we felt it was important, me being a member of the audience at those meetings, that this was fundamental to the way the community operates and should be operating going forward, and it should not be changed on the whim of a specific council when we know that personnel sitting on the council as well as staff all are subject to change, and the variability of public life as we're witnessing in Washington today, some things are more sacred than others and should not be easily changed. And we felt that public comment, as it is currently embodied in the rules of procedure, needed to be strengthened so it was even more difficult to eliminate it. And that was, I think, is the fundamental decision that you're making here tonight, to include it or not include it in the charter, the way it's been presented by Mary Ann. So I would hope that you would proceed and vote favorably in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Councilors, any more questions? Go ahead, Sven.
Sorry, Andre, I apologize. Can you just reread what we are voting on, just to make sure everybody gets it? Because you did a nice job of weaving it into the current charter that doesn't happen to be on this piece of paper.
Okay, so we are voting on 405 Rules of Procedure. And the motion would read, the town council shall adopt rules and regulations regarding the conduct of its meetings. The rules shall include opportunity for public comment at each regular meeting of the council. A quorum for council meetings shall be 3 members. In the event neither the first nor second warden is present, the other shall elect a temporary chairperson.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So
Can we at least say if everybody's wedded to this, can we at least say the rules should include among other things or something, so it doesn't sound like this is the only thing that matters in the rules of procedure?
So that would
I'm not making myself clear on this. I think this elevation of one item basically makes the rest of them unimportant.
Okay, so let me read that back.
This has been in place for a long time.
Yep. Okay, so let me read that proposition back. The town council shall adopt rules and regulations regarding the conduct of its meetings. The rules shall include, amongst other things, the opportunity for public comment at each regular meeting of the council. A quorum for council meetings shall be 3 members. In the event neither the first nor second warden is present, the others shall elect a temporary chairperson. So the rules shall include, among other things, opportunity for public comment. That's what Martha said.
Or whatever Kathy thinks is the appropriate language, included but not limited to, or whatever. There's a standard boilerplate legal thing that I don't know.
Martha?
Yes, including but not limited to is fine.
Go ahead, Sven.
I'm fine with it. I was going to say, I mean, the statement about a quorum and rules on quorum and re-officiating a third person is also included in this. But Kathy, we're all good with this. I'm fine with it.
I am too.
Well, because I know it by heart, I'll make a motion.
Please, I'll be ready to second.
Okay.
This makes perfect.
Under section 405 rules of procedure, I will make a motion that we move to the electors, section 405 to read, the town council shall adopt rules and regulations regarding the conduct of its meetings. The rules shall include, but are not limited to, the opportunity for public comment at each regular meeting of the council. A quorum for council meetings shall be 3 members. In the event neither the first nor second warden is present, the others shall elect a temporary chairperson.
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, wait a minute. Its motions are made and seconded. David Lewis has his hand up. David? David Lewis doesn't have his hand up. Okay, thank you, David. All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
And I want to make a comment that I think any reference to what's going on in Washington, D.C. in regards to what will or will not be carried forth, if it's in or is not in the charter, is a totally specious argument. Everything that's going on in D.C., as far as I can tell, is contrary to every tenet of law and order upon which this country was founded.
Thank you, Martha. I also will approve this, moving this forward.
You need Keith.
Motion
I do too.
You need Keith.
And I
I'm a
agree.
yes too.
Oh, I forgot you, Keith? That's because you
That's
picked
okay. I'm a yes.
not okay.
What Martha was talking about was important.
Exactly, and thank you, Martha, for that. Although motion carries 5-0, section 405 rules of procedure to the voters, the electors. Section 407, town council compensation.
Okay, 407. The council tweaked this when it was presented in December. And for the most part, we're keeping it pretty much intact. We're just adding some clarifying language because of the fact that full-time employees is not defined either in the proposed amendment or the amendment that was presented. So the language we're adding is, we're taking out full-time employees, and we're adding to the highest level of coverage available to employees of the New Shore Employees Association through the then applicable collective bargaining agreement with the same percentage, this is also an add-on, with the same percentage of medical benefit co-share, premium co-share. And then there is also language also in 7.4 that was proposed. Any subsequent increase in compensation shall only affect only those members of the council elected or re-elected in subsequent elections. We're of the opinion that the sentence that's currently in 407 that talks about compensation must be approved no less than 6 months prior to the next general election to take effect following such general election. We think we got some redundancy there. I would just go with one or the other.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Council have any comments on this?
Yeah, let me start the questions. Does this mean we have to budget annually for full compensation for each town member?
I'm sorry, say that again, please?
Does this mean annually we have to budget for a family membership for each potential town council member?
We would have to budget what the particular council member chooses. So if it's a family membership, yes, it'll be the family less the co-share, or if it's a single plan, it'll be the single plan less the co-share, premium co-share. So to answer your question, yes, it'll be budgeted each year,
Okay,
just
and
as well as all benefits and compensation for a council members, even current compensation is also budgeted each year.
about that compensation, let's say the council member is married to a town school teacher who's getting already benefits. Is that town council member compensated for the money he's not expending on healthcare?
This provision, the way this language is currently written, does not allow for that. If
Okay,
I understand what you're saying.
all right, that's what I want to make sure, so everyone understands that.
But it doesn't include what I would call a buyout for the health
Okay.
insurance.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you, Mark, for that question, because it's extremely important. Mary Ann, I guess I'm just gonna, for clarification. So you need health insurance, you take it. If you're a town council member, you take it. But if you have a member, somebody that works for town hall, or
Or anywhere else for that matter.
yeah, or anywhere else that gets it, you can either take it, but if you turn it down, you're not going to get the cash equivalent value of that.
As I look at this provision of this charter, it doesn't allow for that to happen.
And that's good. I appreciate that. Could you tell me right now what, Mark asked about budget impact. Can you tell me what 5 of us on a family plan, like, can you tell me what a family plan roughly is at this moment? Because I know that
Yeah, I do have that somewhere. Hang on. For 5, it'll run about $85,000 to $90,000, 5 family plans. About, I think. Yeah.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry, you broke up.
85 to 95,000 to cover the whole town council. If right now, if every town council member were to choose a family plan.
I do have a financial somewhere.
That's okay. I just kind of wanted to get an idea, because I know we discussed about the financial impacts of this charter review questions, and I don't.
That sounds about right. Let me make my final comment on this, if I can, Andre.
Go ahead.
When 30 years ago, as a council, we voted to eliminate health benefits, it was well intended. Things have certainly evolved in the last 30 years. And I understand the need to attract more people to run for town council and more possibly younger people to run. And I see this now as that possible incentive for them to do it. So even though I voted against it 30 years ago and changed it, I'm inclined to vote in favor of this.
Thank you, Mark.
Just points, for 5 counselors on a family plan, it's $86,150 based on current healthcare cost. Obviously, a year from now, that would change.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Much appreciated. Mark, can I circle back to your 30 years ago? Could you you remember why you voted not to do it anymore?
Yes, we thought we were geniuses and that if we took somewhat of a pay cut or elimination of health benefits, that it would snowball to other town employees.
All right, enough said.
How'd that work for you?
Okay,
All right.
Andre,
We were young and idealistic.
Andre,
Thank you, Martha. Martha, go ahead.
they also, practically speaking, at that time, health insurance was much less expensive. And I'm pretty sure that was the time when the amount that counselors went from being paid $1,000 to $3,000.
Right.
Right.
So it wasn't quite as, I mean, and that seemed like, oh, that kind of makes up for it, which, things are hugely different today. There's one thing I do want to say, and I don't want, this is absolutely not to be a part of any charter change as far as I think it's totally, alluded to this discussion when I'm going to be mention right now, but I think it's very important, and I think it's come up a lot in the last year. And I speak as somebody who is not does not own a business that has a lot of requirement for technology. I don't, I'm not married to somebody who does. I don't have this kind of access. And the thing that I would really hope that in the budget upcoming, it not be something that puts a burden, an out-of-pocket burden on people in the way that some of these technological requirements have been doing. And as we go over to increasingly paperless, we've talked about this before offline. Other towns, a couple of decades ago, I think, were providing at least counselors tablets in which everything was downloaded. And I think that's something that has to be considered in the budgetary cycle, not in the charter. But I would hate to have people think, oh, I'm getting health insurance, and then walk in and go, oh, by the way, you have to do this, you have to do this. You're not going to be able to participate unless you have this kind of phone or this kind of computer and so forth. I changed my phone. When I got on the council, I had the old flip phone until I got back on the council, and I had to do multiple texts out to people.
You don't have a flip phone anymore?
No.
Oh. All right. So, are you? So
That
Martha,
was just food for thought.
okay. So the point, I mean, as with a lot of these the charter changes, this is something we could do tomorrow, but we wouldn't be able to have the benefits personally of it. Like this town council could do this. So, all right.
But I think it's something that should be considered when you're talking about costs and when you're talking about incentives. The thing you do not want to do is put an undue burden on people in addition to already taking up time from work and such.
Thank you. Thank you. Mary Ann or anybody, charter review or council. So the changes, we're looking at 1 and 2, the underlined sections of 1 and 2. So if you could bear with me for 1 second. The new 407 compensation would read, compensation of the members of the town council shall include health insurance benefits commensurate with the highest level of coverage available to employees of the New Shore Employees Association through the then applicable collective bargaining agreement with the same percentage of medical benefits premium co-share. Any subsequent increase in compensation shall affect only those members of the council elected or re-elected upon a subsequent election. Is that the way this would read? Or is that the way this would read?
Actually, no, Andre.
Okay, thank you. That's why I asked.
We're recommending that last sentence not be included because the prior sentence includes it.
Okay, so it would only include the compensation of the members of the town council shall include health insurance benefits commensurate with the highest level of coverage available to employees of the New Shore Employees Association through the then applicable collective bargaining agreement with the same percentage of medical benefits premium co-share, provided that any change, shall I continue reading that? Am I on the right track? Provided that any
Then
change.
it would go in, then it would go, and any other compensation shall be set by the council. See,
Already in
up
the
at the
chart.
top. Yeah, but not and any other compensation, that's new.
I don't see that anywhere. I'm terribly sorry. I have it in front of me. Can somebody help me out?
So this sentence, the new sentence, goes up to the point, you see the proposed sentence up above, shall include coverage by the town's health insurance, and we changed that. And then it's within the New Shore Employees Association. That's the language we replaced, and then it continues on, and any other compensation.
Any subsequent increase in compensation?
Now, and any subsequent shall be set by the council, and then it goes into the regular charter language. The part, any subsequent increase in compensation is redundant because the prior sentence says any change in compensation.
Okay, so if any counselor want to read this 407 compensation as they understand it to me, or Mary Ann? Any?
I had my sheets in front of me and I misplaced it as I went to the next one. So can you pitch it for me right now?
You can take your time. I'm feeling as though I'm missing something. So,
Yeah, I feel a little handicapped too, Andre, with what I've been given in my packet, so.
I think it's there. It's one page, one side,
Yeah,
right?
it's one side.
Yeah. I don't,
Kathy, do you have it?
Yes, I could read it if you would like.
Yeah, please, because I put mine down.
Kathy, if you
The
could read. Go ahead.
Sure. The compensation of the members of the town council shall include health insurance benefits commensurate with the highest level of coverage available to employees of the New Shoreham Employees Association through the then applicable collective bargaining agreement with the same percentage of medical benefits premium co-share, and any other compensation shall be set by the council and change from time to time as the council may deem appropriate, provided that any change in said compensation must be approved no less than 6 months prior to the next general election to take effect following such general election.
Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to attempt a motion here. I will move to send to the electors of the town a revised section 407 compensation. That should read, the compensation of the members of the town council shall include health insurance benefits commensurate with the highest level of coverage available to employees of the New Shoreham Employees Association through the then applicable collective bargaining agreement with the same percentage of the medical benefits premium co-share, and any other compensation shall be set by the council and change from time to time as the council may deem appropriate, provided that any language in said compensation must be approved no less than 6 months prior to the next general election to take effect following such general election. That was a motion.
Second,
Do you understand the wording? Does everybody understand the wording?
I understand in second.
I know, I'm just making sure everybody else.
yes, sir.
Keith, Martha. Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, Keith?
Holy God.
What?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was on mute. I'm watching television.
Martha?
Aye.
Yeah, oh God, doesn't serve as an aye or an A. Keith, Sven?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I approve. Motion carries 5-0. Section 407, compensation.
Hey, Andre, just so you know, I'm going to turn my video
Can I
off.
just say, oh, sorry.
One
I'm
second.
going to turn my video off just to save data.
Sorry.
So I apologize.
Okay, Sven, go ahead. And go ahead, Keith.
I just wanted to say that the point that Martha made, I think, is something we really ought to keep in mind. It's actually, when we get to it, one of the work sessions that I wanted to suggest was about sort of our town IT infrastructure. But, you know, if you want to run, you shouldn't have to buy a, $1,200 laptop or whatever, in order to be eligible to win, particularly as we transition, as Martha said, to electronic documents. Anyway, sorry, I wanted to follow up when she said it because I think she's 100% right.
Yeah.
So often is.
We've already had, some preliminary agreement, discussions with
Oh, great.
Marion. Well, I know I have. I don't know about anybody else about the tablet bit and the budget and, provide for that in the budget this year.
Yeah.
Because, we are using our own devices here and.
Yeah.
Okay, section 605 A, E, and F, budget procedures.
Okay.
So this one, we're just going to look at A, E, and F at
Yep.
this point. That's what we talked about. And again, like some of the other ones, you're going to see some similar language that we proposed in other information.
Thank you.
You know, A, it says it shall be the goal of the town budget process to distribute budget information materials as broadly as possible and to engage the public throughout the development of the approved budget. We're just saying here that the notice of all budget hearings and budget work sessions scheduled by the council shall be posted by the town clerk in accordance with the state requirements. The next paragraph, it changes the number 1 to 2 public hearings. We don't have any really comments on that. When it gets to, again, the digital platforms, we are adding, in addition, announcement of all budget hearings and budget workshops shall be promptly posted on the town's website and on such digital platforms as the town council may direct. And finally, on F, we just have a comment on that. We are not proposing any kind of change to that language.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
It's great.
Yep.
Martha?
That's fine.
How's Georgia doing, Martha?
How's what?
Nothing. As I said, how's Georgia doing? But you're probably watching DC in the background.
I'm watching DC.
Yeah,
Let's be focused.
I know. All right, so anybody want to take a stab at what the new ordinance would look like? I've got it in front of me on Clerkbase. I'm just kind of wondering if somebody want to assist me here, how the new one should read.
I would make a motion that we submit to the voters a resolution. Let's see, I just lost it. That includes the following change. Notice of all budget hearings and budget work sessions scheduled by the council shall be posted by the town clerk in accordance with the requirements of state law. In section 2, the addition of a sentence that says, in addition, announcement of all budget hearings and budget work sessions shall be made prominently on the town's website and on such digital platforms as the town council may direct.
I'll second. Is that sufficient, Kathy?
There's one other item, and that is whether you want to include the intangible personal property in section F. The only comment we have.
I thought Mary Ann had said that was fine. No.
We're not proposing
No.
any changes, but you have to include it.
You're not proposing any changes. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't see any.
Right.
I didn't see any bold underline there. And that disposal of tangible and intangible personal property of the town shall be by bid or public auction at the direction of the town council. Disposal of real property of the town shall be brought on for a public vote at the financial town meeting.
I will withdraw my
I
original.
believe that's it.
Okay, I'll withdraw my original second and I'll second that. All those in favor? Martha?
Aye.
Keith?
Yes.
Ben? Mark?
Aye.
I approve. Motion carries. Section 605, A, E, and F, budget procedures with a unanimous vote to move forward to the electors. Section 402, council qualifications and eligibility to serve on the boards.
We have no comments on that one or proposed amendments. So you have one sentence change. As such exception shall be related to a special circumstance and shall be granted for a specific and limited duration.
Okay, so
Under 402.
I will read that whole. I'll make the motion. I will make a motion that we send to the electors of the town revised language of section 402, qualifications and eligibility Members, and then that shall read, members of the town council shall be qualified electors and residents of the town of New Shoreham and shall not be eligible for appointment to the Block Island Land Trust, school committee, or any board or commission of the town appointed by the town council, provided, however, that the town council may make exceptions to this prohibition in individual cases as it deems best for the welfare of the town. Any such exceptions shall be related to a special circumstance and shall be granted for a specified and limited duration. No council member shall hold any other paid employment in the service of the town, nor be eligible to accept any such employment for a period of 1 year following the expiration of the term for which he or she was elected. The office of the town council member who ceases to meet the foregoing qualifications shall be deemed to have become vacant and may be declared vacant by the council if he or she shall have been absent from 6 consecutive regularly scheduled meetings of the council. That needs a little bit of change there, doesn't it? Council, if he or she shall have been absent, is that okay? Is that wording okay? Okay. And that's my motion.
Second.
Seconded by Mark. Discussion. Everybody understand? It's kind of, understand what they're voting for? Okay. Any comments? Sven, do you have a comment? Okay. All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Keith?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
And I approve. I'm in favor. Section 402, qualifications and eligibility sent to the electors of the town. Okay, moving quite along. Department of Public Works, Section 801.
So just to provide you with some background information, with the Department of Public Works, the town manager filling that capacity, there are a number of positions that reported to the town manager in the capacity of the DPW director. When I think of a DPW director, I think of, facilities, I think of roads, your snow plowing and things of that nature. There's some things that were in the charter currently that are reporting to the DPW director that I don't think, with the splitting off of these positions, should report to the DPW director. Also, there was language in there that said that the town council shall assign to the DPW director. And that, again, with the DP in mind, that was in mind that the DPW director was also the town manager. So the first the proposal that came forward with the Charter Commission with the addition of the sewer systems, that sentence we're okay with. What we're then going down, if you go down further, when it says such other public work activity as may be assigned to the department by the town council, we're eliminating town council and putting town manager in there because the council can't assign a department head. And also what we're doing is we're striking out including enforcement of zoning ordinance and decisions of zoning board of review and historical commission. Further down, what we're adding in is the inspection office. There shall be an inspection office, and the said office shall be responsible for plumbing, minimal housing, electrical, and similar inspectional function of the town. The building inspector and other inspectorial personnel shall be attached to and work out of said office and shall report to the town manager. So the building inspection department currently reports to the town manager, and we're going to keep it like that. Same thing with the harbor. Currently, the language in the charter states that the harbor master shall report to the director of public works. Proposed language is striking out director of public works and stating town manager. So the harbor master and building official will still report to the town manager.
Thank you. Questions from council? Any questions from the council?
I was just going to say, this is great. Nicely done. Thank you.
Makes sense to me.
Any public
Okay,
comment?
Andre?
Go ahead, Martha.
Yeah, I have a comment.
Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
not on the specific ordinance. I think what's been rewritten is fine. What I do think, I'm a little surprised that nobody came up with this, given all of this transparency and so forth, that the financial ramifications of any item should be. We don't seem to have a provision for that. That if you're putting forth an amendment to the charter, you have to include under some type of public disclosure what the financial ramifications will be.
We had asked for that long before, like right at one of the beginnings of the beginning meetings.
I know we asked for it, and we. I'm saying, it seems, and I'm very late coming to this. I think, but next time, that this probably should actually be a part of what is specified under the amendment provisions of the charter. And again, given all of the public disclosure, it didn't seem like. I'm surprised it's not there.
Thank you. Thanks, Martha. Okay, so I'm just all right, I'm looking at how to make this motion. I'm just looking at what it should read. That's all. Give me a second.
Excuse me,
Who's there?
This is a long one.
Molly. I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused about the B and C. Should they be A and B?
Should be, hang on, let me see what's in the charter as current.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, it is 801, it is B in 801, Molly. And it is B and C. It is, those are how it's listed in the charter.
A is going away, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So, correct, so, yeah,
Thank you.
so we may have to change the lettering system,
If the motion passes, okay.
right?
Okay, so proposed amendment. Department of Public Works. I'm going to read this, and please correct me if this is wrong of what this is supposed to read. There shall be a Department of Public Works, the head of which shall be the Director of Public Works, who shall be employed by the town manager with the advice and consent of the town council, from among persons who have had training and or experience in administration, engineering, construction, or other professional fields which pertain to the responsibilities of the department, and preferably from among individuals who hold a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. The Director of Public Works shall be responsible for the efficient operation of the department and for the provision of services to the town in relations to highways, sewer and sewage treatment system, community infrastructure, resiliency. Okay, so we're cutting sewer and sewage treatment, right?
Correct.
Okay, so in relation to the highways, water supply, solid waste disposal, and town landfill, harbors and town-owned docks, maintenance of public buildings and properties, including under the control of the school department at the department's discretion, parks and recreational facilities, town cemeteries, public parking facilities, street lighting, inspectoral functions, and such other public works activities as may assigned to the department by the town manager.
Can I just interrupt you for there? I missed this.
Yeah.
Inspector's functions, we need to take out
I'm
in
sorry.
that paragraph too. I apologize, I missed that.
Nope, that's okay. That's why we're gonna kind of read through them so we all have an understanding. Where is that?
It's after street lighting, it talks about the department's discretion, parks, recreation facilities, town cemeteries, public parking facilities, street lighting,
Okay,
inspector functions.
we're pulling that.
Pulling that out or striking that also.
Okay, and everything that's in bold, right, came out also? Sewer and sewage to sea level rise?
No, that stayed in. The sewer and sewer treatment came out.
Okay, so community infrastructure resiliency related to sea level rise?
That can stay in. Yep.
Okay. Perfect. And then we're going to remove inspectoral functions. Is that the end of it?
In other public works activities as may signed by the town manager.
By town manager. So that is
Yeah.
all. of it. I'm going to read it back with those taken out. My only question. Okay, so that is section 801, right?
Then 801 has an A, B, C, D, E.
Okay, where's A?
A is what's being striked right below, is sewers. At
Okay.
such time, the town council may.
Okay, so then, okay, thank you then. All right, so let me go over this again. Proposed amendment 801, the Department of Public Works. We're going to leave that intact, except we're going to remove sewer and sewage treatment systems and inspectoral functions,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
And then it will go on to read, A is being struck, so the new A will be an inspection office?
Correct.
Okay. There shall be an office of inspections. The said office shall be responsible for all building, minimum housing, plumbing, electrical, and similar inspectoral functions of the town. The building inspector and other inspectoral personnel shall be attached to and work out of said office and shall report to the town manager. Harbor master, there shall be a harbor master appointed by the town council in accordance with the state law who shall report to the town manager. The duties of the harbor master shall be consistent with applicable ordinances and state law enacted heretofore or in the future. 2, then that will be B. That'll be 1B. And 2 will be the Board of Sewer Commissioners was created by the legislature through the enabling legislation, Public Laws 1972, Chapter 146, amended by Public Laws 1978, Chapter 63, and further amended by Public Laws 1982, Chapter 71. In order to dispense with the board or transfer its duties and obligation, legislation would be required. Is that how everybody reads this to read?
Kathy, is 2 required or necessary?
Or could it be a footnote?
I'm sorry, I'm on mute. Where are you, Marianne?
It says in the Public Works, under comments and background, Andre just read the whole thing and also included item number 2 on the second page, which says the Board of Sewer Commission was created by
Oh, no,
legislature.
that's
That's
just
not
a-
necessary. You do not need to include that. That is just
Correct, that was
background
just the-
information
Okay,
as
so,
to why you cannot include sewer and sewer treatment plan in there. That's why that's in there.
that's the explanation.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to send to the electors of the town an amended 801 to Department of Public Works, which will read.
Andre, excuse me, Sven has his hand up, so
Sorry, I got this in front of me and I'm glad you told me that. I'm not ignoring you. I just don't have the Zoom in front of me. I have the ordinances. So Sven, go ahead.
Yeah, there's 2 quick questions, and I apologize. One, buildings department and land use and all that sort of end of the building there, that reports to
the town manager.
town manager. Thank you, just confirming. And then D, which used to be D in the charter, called facilities manager, which would now be C in theory. Does that go away?
No, that stays.
So we need to read that in, right? Don't we? Or I'm just making sure with the edits.
What the motions are strictly the edits. Anything that's currently in the charter is staying.
I know, but doesn't the letter change from D to C?
Yeah,
I'm-
they do.
I'm sorry to
A
be
bunch of the
technical.
letters change. I don't know if we need to say that the letter's changing. Can that just happen, Kathy, or do they have to make a motion saying that they're changing the lettering? Because we got lettering changes throughout this thing.
Yeah, that's just an administrative matter.
Okay.
It doesn't affect the substance of what's being voted on.
Thank you. I just want to make sure. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Andre.
I have one quick comment, Andre, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at all. Go ahead, Keith.
I just wanted to say, This is probably more general as well, but I really like this section because it, I think, accomplishes something that we want to accomplish in terms of DPW, but also does more things that clarify lines of reporting, clarify responsibilities, and I just really appreciate the time and attention that Mary Ann and the other members of the team have put into this one. It's really I think it reads and performs beautifully now. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Anybody else have any comment before I make this motion? We can still comment after it's seconded. So here goes. I would make a just knock it off. Make a motion to present to the electors of the town the proposed amendment with the changes of 801 Department of Public Works. There shall be a Department of Public Works, the head of which shall be the Director of Public Works, who shall be employed by the town manager with the advice and consent of the town council from among other persons who have had training and or experience in administration, engineering, construction, or other professional fields which pertain to the responsibilities of the department, and preferably from among individuals who hold a bachelor's degree from an accredited college or university. The Director of Public Works shall be responsible for the efficient operation of the department and for the provision of services to the town in relation to highways, water supply, community infrastructure, resiliency, sea level rise, solid waste disposal, and town landfill, harbors, town-owned docks, maintenance of public buildings and properties, including those under the control of the school department at the department's discretion, parks and recreational facilities, town cemeteries, public parking facilities, street lighting, and such other public works activities as may be assigned to the department by the town manager. Inspection office, there shall be, and this is the new A, there shall be an office of inspections. The said office shall be responsible for all building, minimum housing, plumbing, electrical, and similar inspectoral functions of the town. The building inspector shall, the building inspector and other inspectoral personnel shall be attached to and work out of said office and shall report to the town manager. The new section B will read harbor master. There shall be a harbor master appointed by the town council in accordance with state law who shall report to the town manager. The duties of the harbor master shall be consistent with the applicable ordinances and state law enacted heretofore or in the future.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor, Keith?
Yes.
I got you. Sven?
Aye.
Martha?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I approve. The motion carries from 5 to nothing to send 801 to the electors of the town. Review changes to section 304, publication of warrant. Mary Ann, I'll let you take that explanation.
Okay, so I think Molly has sent you a couple of documents as it relates to the warrant and the warning. At the last meeting, you folks were deciding whether to put the word warrant or warning. We talked it may be interchangeable. So here's the background of that particular item that was sent, that Molly had emailed to you. So it's my understanding the words can be used interchangeably. But I would ask Molly also to jump in on this because she's the one that did the research on this one. Molly, where are you with this warning and warrant? The one word they needed to look at for this proposed charter amendment.
Hi, it's Molly. I think I'd change it to warrant.
That's what I was going to suggest the same thing.
That was easy.
Love it.
That was easy. I'm sorry, go ahead. Somebody have their hand up? Okay. Do we need motions on this?
Yeah, because you're going to have to change the word warning to warrant.
Warrant, yes.
You want to help me out?
Is
with
it
that? Go ahead, Martha.
The same one that has language in it.
I'm sorry. Martha, can you repeat that?
Is this the same one that has the plain language in it?
It is.
Yeah.
Because I can't find my papers.
I haven't.
Yeah, I still have.
It's 304.
But I probably had that when we were looking at 80 whatever. And now I know.
We're at 801. We're now on 304.
God, I can't.
And Molly did send a note in your emails.
Right. Well, my concern, as I said before, was who is going to write it and what are the. It just seems if you have a legal document, it's just going to get, if you start adding language or clarifying language, you're just going to muck it up. And one of the things that, and this is not for inclusion in the charter, but it's a question about it, would simply bolding the things that were being voted suffice? Because we do not have law changes at a financial town meeting. These are matters of borrowing. And one of the things of formatting, again, I don't think this needs to be in the charter, but I think one of the problems that we've had in the past, we have items that are one-time large expenditure items that kind of get buried in the borrowing anticipation of taxes and the performance stuff that has to be done every year. And simply as a matter of process, if we simply split those out and made it clear what were the, we do this every year and this is what's different this year. As I remember a couple of years ago, there was something we thought was going to be a big issue and it turned out to be nothing because half the people had left by then. Or 3/4 of the people had left by then. And I understand the intent. I guess I have a philosophical issue with this, dumbing down of America. And I do have a question about: are we going to complicate? Are we going to make things more complicated by providing more paper? And there's a very simple way of doing this without getting. You really can't do a clarification of a legal item absent a legal team, which kind of defeats the entire purpose, I think. I'm done
Thank you, Martha.
for now.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments? So,
Well, I guess I did have a question. Is that something that would suffice if you have a long piece of language that basically is borrowing in anticipation of taxes? Do you need to do more than simply highlight anticipation of taxes, authorized borrowing in anticipation of taxes?
who's that question for?
It's with, I guess, Keith, if he's speaking for the Charter Commission.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, oops, am I muted? Sorry. I think that would, I think a plain description that, I mean, I'm totally with you on this dumbing down thing, Martha, by the way. I don't think you and I are far apart. Well, I think we're in the same, but it's so that people don't sort of roll their eyes and stop on a multi-paragraph description of something that is basically this authorized the issuance of revenue anticipation notes.
I guess I'm just concerned about having yet another piece of paper with yet another description that isn't going to solve, and it's just going to give people who never get to town meeting early anyway, and who no longer, people used to come and pick that stuff up at the town hall, back in the 80s. But that doesn't happen anymore. I don't think it's gonna.
No, it doesn't happen anymore, and it's merely an attempt to try to have a basic explanation of what the elements that are going to be voted on. I mean, look, I decry it too, because I'm one of those people who actually reads this stuff, you know. But I'm like you know.
But I do think the most, I don't read anymore, but I think the most important part of it, to me, as somebody who sat through these since, you know, I was in high school, is the distinguishing what is just a matter of the technical things that have to be done every year to facilitate the governance of the town, and something like, I don't think we've borrowed anticipation of taxes in a very long time, because we have the tax bills get out on time, the cash flow is stronger than it used to be. But then then you'll have a sewer project or a water project or a some huge capital project that just kind of just goes along, and we look at each other and go, my God, does anybody even realize we just spent $5 million? And that to me is far more concerning than any possible nuance of tax anticipation, which is not it's just really it's a legal authority that we have to give the treasurer to do. And I don't want that to go in the charter, but I'm just saying that's, I think, isn't that what you're really driving at?
Well, presumably this plain language would say we are borrowing $5 million for a water project.
Well, I mean, it says that already, but you want to have it in, if you simply had that and bolded it, what's in the warrant, and then people wouldn't feel like they had to read the whole thing, which is mind-numbing.
Yeah, you know. This is one way to skin the cat, I guess.
A real simple way of getting this without giving people more stuff to read, and without getting into that possible problem of having something that doesn't quite exactly correlate to what you're really doing. That, and well, Kathy's mentioned this before. You don't want to have something that's not exactly right, or that can be misinterpreted. And that's not charter language. I'm just talking about how this is truly going to be implemented, because again, implementation is as important as any charter change.
Thank you, Martha. Anybody?
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I have another public hearing I need to attend. I'll try to keep my cell phone available if there's something that comes up and I can provide value. Please feel free to contact me, or you can catch me on the Zoom for the City of Providence. So,
thank you.
Good to see you all.
You too. I'm not going to take that guy away. Thanks. Anybody else have any comments on this item? No?
Ready to go.
All right. So, all right, you guys are gonna make me. You guys are gonna make me do it, aren't you? All right. So this should. So section 304, publication of financial town meeting warnings. This will read, and bear with me because I'm just trying to get it right. Hold on. What do we, can anybody help me out with this? With, it's marked up quite good from the other day. Oh, it was.
Sure.
Keith, can you help me out with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me 1 second while it loads. It's a pretty straightforward one.
Well, I have it.
Because all we're doing is changing the word.
Okay, so I have.
So if you have the section that has warning, we're literally just changing the word warning to warrant.
Okay, 2 spots. Okay, so it would read the warrant, language version of the warrant. All right, or is it
yes,
including the plain language version of the warrant? Help me out, Molly.
Yes.
So warning first and warrant second before describing.
I thought it was warrant in both places.
Well, maybe it is.
I would change it in both places.
Assistant.
Okay, so this new section 304 should read, for discussion purposes here, the warrant, including a plain language version of the warrant, describing the matters to be considered at any financial town meeting shall be published in the newspaper of record and distributed across reasonably available digital platforms?
Mm-mm.
No, see, go ahead, Keith, you do it then.
No, this is the one that has the new
Language.
Right.
Do you
language
want me to take a
about-
stab at it for you,
Yes,
folks?
yes, please, where
Okay.
the town council directs.
Yeah, the
which
warrant
platforms.
included plain language version of the warrant describing the matters to be considered at a financial town meeting shall be published in a newspaper of record, hang on, or in the absence of a newspaper of record, and a newspaper having a circulation in Washington County. And then a separate guide, hang on, describing the rules and procedures for the meeting shall be published and distributed. Did you decide to keep
Killed
that
that.
second?
No, I think we got rid of
No,
that.
you got rid of that.
No, I think
Oh,
we
I'm
got
sorry.
rid of
And
that.
then, you did, I'm sorry. What I'm missing is this sentence. Wait a minute, here it is. And broadly distributed across, I thought, oh yeah, broadly distributed across such reasonable available digital platforms as the council may direct. The last sentence we got rid of.
Yep.
So we're going to read the warrant, including a plain language version of the warrant, describing the matters to be considered of any financial town meeting shall be published in the newspaper of record or in the absence of a newspaper of record in a newspaper having a circulation in Washington County. And then it'll go on to say, and broadly distributed across such
Right.
reasonably available digital platforms as the town council may direct. Does everybody understand that as to be the wording of what we're going to vote on in a minute? Mark?
Yes.
Okay, Martha? And I'm only asking you guys because I can't see you. Sven?
Yes.
And Keith
Yes,
indicated, okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to send to the electors of the town of New Shoreham the updated wording for section 304, publication of financial town meeting warrants. All right? Change the title to warrants. The warrant, including a plain language version of the warrant describing the matters to be considered at any financial town meeting, shall be published in the newspaper of record or in the absence of a newspaper of record in a newspaper having a circulation in Washington County, and broadly distributed across such reasonable available digital platforms as the town council may direct.
Second.
Seconded by Sven. All those in favor, Martha?
I'm voting against it. I think without any serious discussion of implementation, it's irresponsible.
Mark?
Aye.
Sven?
I.
Keith?
I'm casting a responsible vote. Yes, I feel
Yes.
responsible doing it.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Keith. And I'm in favor. My only, I agree with Martha in a sense that, you know, having a circulation in Washington County and newspaper of records, I get all that, but I do approve of this. So section 304 passes off to the voters dealing with finished town meeting warrants at a vote of 4-1. Next item. Somewhere. Next item is section 506J, town manager duties and assessment of seasonal fluctuations. I think that's what the notes on that were. 506J.
Yes. The only change you made to that when you changed the downtown district to the, hang on.
Just took out downtown.
Yeah, it took out downtown and the assessment of seasonal fluctuation.
Okay.
Yes, just the elimination of one word. I thought we voted on this one already.
I thought we did vote on
Too.
it.
We did vote on it, but we're just getting we're just getting updated,
Okay.
well, updated, of the changes that we needed. We voted, how do I put it? Molly, can you help me? We voted to,
You did, you voted to move these forward with amendments, and you were just going to kind of reaffirm after it.
and we just wanted to see the wording that amendments we made before we, passed off on them, I guess, as you'd say.
Yes, and they were emailed to you earlier.
Yes, I have those here with me. Thank you. Okay, so next item is,
Well, let's vote on that one. I guess we have to now.
But didn't we vote
You
on it?
don't actually have to vote on it.
no, we didn't, Mark, because we voted on it. We didn't make any changes. We were just getting an update to what those changes were.
All right, then ditto on 95, ditto on the last one then, correct?
Correct.
Correct. And 907 Police Commission, we forwarded to, there shall be a police advisor of 5 members appointed by the town council, each to serve for a term of 5 years, said terms to be so arranged that one term expires each year. It shall be the responsibility of the commission to meet at least quarterly with the chief of police to discuss any challenges faced by the department and community related to law enforcement. I believe that also said community issues too. But anyway, communicate regularly with the town council. No, town council was removed. We're not going to discuss with the town council, right?
Correct. That's what's in my notes.
Yeah. Regularly with the town council. Okay, so that got removed. The town manager and chief of police relating to matters pertaining to the police department on the commission's own initiative or upon request made to it for device. In discussion, the town council said the purpose of the commission is to communication between the community and the police. The council agreed their inclusion in quarterly meetings is not appropriate because the town manager supervises the police chief under the current language. The town council may appoint itself the police advisory commission. The new language requires a police advisory, which would not be the town council. Okay, so we did move to submit 907 as modified by removing the words town council from the second sentence from presentation to the electors of the town. But I also believe we added, because I made the motion,
Yep, you did.
was to add related to, up faced by the department and community related and community.
Community related is what you added.
Perfect. Okay, I got it. Thank you. All right.
You're right. Thank you. That's why you needed to see these again. Thanks.
Exactly. Thank you. Town manager duties, 6J, we're all done with that.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you need a second on the police commission, or are we all set?
No, I think we already voted on it.
Okay, great.
It's just an administrative.
capturing it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So item number 2 on our agenda this evening.
Hey, Andre, can I
Andre?
just have 1 second just to say,
You can take as long as you like.
I just want to say thank you for taking and allocating so much time. This was a long and arduous process, but in a lot of ways, I think embodies all the great things about town government and about kind of democracy as close to the people as it gets. What the Charter Review Commission did over, it's got to be 16 months. It's hard for me to overstate how intensely involved they were and how passionate they were. And we had a lot of arguments, a lot of, back and forth, a lot of compromise. And I emerged from that process not only encouraged about the charter, but with some really deep and abiding friendships. And I just really want to thank that group and thank you, Andre, and the other members of the council, you, Martha, Sven, Mark, Marianne, Kathy, Molly Fitzpatrick. Really, I know how hard this was, but I just appreciate the time and the attention and the debate and the back and forth was really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. And I did say to someone the other night, I don't know who it was, that I felt as though we actually had a great substantive conversation
Yeah.
amongst the 5 of us, 6 of us, 7 of us actually, about that whole process. And I was excited that we sat there for a very, very long time and just and we got through all of this with mutual respect. And
Yes.
And a lot of us did have differing opinions on that. So that's just a testament to the council moving forward. And I really hope that holds for the next 2 years and beyond.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate you all. I do.
Saying the honeymoon's over, Andre?
Jesus. If this is what you have to start with, I was sort of saying to Susan, oh my God, what did I do here?
Then my honeymoon was here. Sven, go ahead.
Yeah, just 2 quick comments. One, I don't want to repeat totally, but I believe great thanks go to Town Solicitor Kathy, to Molly, and to Marianne for really thinking through work that had been really thought through. I really want to end with thanks to the Charter Review Commission. There were some people that had been on it before. There were some new people. I know there were some frustrations in December, but I think what you're seeing is a council that's embraced great work, refined that great work, and really moving things forward to the voters that I think is very important. And this has not happened in the past. And so I think between everybody, this has been a great effort. And I just want to make sure that especially everybody on the Charter Review Commission truly understands that. And we look forward to seeing them on more commissions and more committees and more efforts. So thank you.
They're all going to serve on the Deer Task Force.
Hey, I'm on it.
We have to make ourselves the Deer Task.
It's going to be one hell of a committee.
I know, right?
I think we wanted to, the staff at Town Hall here as requested, and I said, and I agree, a 5-minute recess before we carry on. Was that okay with everybody? Okay, so do we need a motion for that, Kathy, for a recess?
No, you can call a recess.
Yeah, we're just 5 minutes of recess. We just got to regroup for the next agenda item, and we shall return in 5. And that would 6:20. Thank you.
In an attempt to prevent us from carrying out our constitutional duty. And there's no question that the president warned the mob, the president decided the mob, the president possessed the mob, he disappointed. This is government that is not. It is consumed one. And it's absolutely intolerable and unacceptable. The mob will not prevail. We all have taken notes of the Constitution. It's an oath that we carry out. It doesn't bend, to mob rule. It doesn't bend to political threat. It's an oath under God, and we will carry it out. And what happened today can never happen again in the United States. And
the president did put out a video urging the protesters to go home and to be peaceful. But as John just mentioned, the tweet he just sent out These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. Go home with love and peace. Remember this day forever. Your thoughts about that tweet and the message the president is sending?
Well, you know, the president is abusing the trust of the American people, and abusing the trust of the people who supported him. We never in our 245-year history had a president refuse to concede and leave office after the Electoral College had voted. The Electoral College voted on December 14th. And our job here in the Capitol is to count the votes. We will count the votes. But there are serious questions about the president's involvement and responsibility for what happened here tonight with the day at the Capitol. And it cannot be solved.
Something do you expect to get back at it tonight as far as action on that House floor?
I do. I think that there's agreement that we must do that, agreement that we will do that we won't be deterred and continue the constitutional path, and want to be bipartisan. So I look forward to doing that. I think it's really important for us to do that. It's important for us to send a message to the nation and to the world that America is not ruled by nonviolence. We have this tremendous history of the peaceful transfer of power, something that we take for granted, but Ronald Reagan said it was miraculous. And I think what we see
Wonderful.
today.
Thank you, Donald Trump. Asshole.
And the obligation and responsibility of everybody to step up to make sure that we're lying by our oath and to make sure that this insurrection is not allowed to proceed, and that we're not going to be ruled by the violence. I also want to say we've got 4 law enforcement, Capitol Police officers who were injured. It is absolutely unacceptable, and the president's response so far has been completely intolerable.
Congresswoman Liz Cheney, thank you very much. Stay safe. We're looking live at DC National Guard. Some 1,100 rather, arriving to the area. They've been mobilized. They are supplementing the police force there, both the Metropolitan Police in DC and also the Capitol Police. You can see them with their riot gear on there as they create a surrounding of the Capitol, we're told, and that may take another couple of hours as night has fallen in DC. You can see the Capitol Dome in the background quite a distance away. And now the job of clearing the Capitol inside to make sure there are no other people in there before they can go through, sort through, and make sure it is safe for the resumption, we believe, of the Electoral College certification efforts today. Let's bring in our panel. Max Schlapp, Chairman of the American Conservative Union. Amy Walter, National Editor for the Cook Political Report. Byron York, Chief Political Correspondent of the Washington Examiner, and Fox News Senior Political Analyst, Britt Hume. Britt, I want to start with you. You've seen a lot in Washington. We haven't seen anything like this. What about the president's reaction and what this day really means?
Well, I don't think there's much doubt, Brett, that the president's actions and his entire conduct post the election are what led us to this point. If you were a Trump believer and you believe the extravagant claims he has made about how this election was stolen, you believe, therefore, that something truly horrible had happened that changes the face of our republic. It is utter nonsense, but he believed it, and he got them to believe it. And believing that, they did what they did today. I sense, Brett, that there's a sea change now in the Republican Party as a result of this. Trump's post-election conduct, I think, has split him off from about half, maybe more than that, of his voting base, which is to say this. The voting base has two elements. One are the hardcore Trump supporters who will do whatever he wants, believe whatever he says, will never desert him, no matter what. The rest of them are everyday Republicans who sort of signed on to Trump because they liked what he was doing. They may not have liked what he said all the time. They may have been put off by his manner, by his vulgarity, and the rest of it, but they were with him and they voted for him. I think those people now almost certainly have deserted him. If the election were held tonight, he'd lose by far more than he lost the last time. And I don't think they'll be around for any effort by Trump to be elected again 4 years from now.
Matt Schlapp, you're a believer that this election was stolen. You have fought for the president. The things that happened on the Capitol today, the mob that got in, I called it the mob, we said protesters earlier, but that's not accurate for the folks who went inside and did damage inside the Capitol. Those are extremists. Is it fair to say that? And despite the fact that there is a large portion of that Trump crowd out there that may have just been showing up to be peaceful, the people who stormed the Capitol were extremists and dangerous. You know,
Am I online?
I can hear you.
Okay, thanks. I just get the notice that says I'm in the waiting room, and then nothing else ever comes on.
Oh.
And then I hear things. I was like, okay, I better be careful.
Well, you still should be careful, but.
Yeah.
Do you still have your TV on, Martha? What's going on?
I haven't. It's just local news now.
Gotcha.
I got a post saying that they secured the Capitol and everything was safe.
Jesus Christ.
The things have dispersed. It's dark down there, of course, and it's just unbelievable, though.
Ugh.
I never thought I'd see this. They had a picture. When I made that comment back along, they had the guy in the Senate chamber holding something up on the dais. He shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have been holding something up. He shouldn't have been. I was like, here I am. I've taken over the Senate.
You mean
It's
one
really
of the they were in the
one of
chamber?
the protests. They were in the Senate chamber. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, we're back.
And now for the long part of the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh God. What is that?
All right, I'm going to call this meeting back to order. See,
Do I even have this? Where is this stuff?
I'm sorry, what is your question, Martha?
Oh, the sunset clause. Never mind. I thought I had a whole ordinance.
Number 2 on our agenda. All right. Mary Ann's here. All right. So number 2 on the agenda is discuss and act on the sunset clause of the Town of New Salem zoning ordinance, section 513F. Quote, standards for town accessory apartments. I'm going to let Mary Ann give some background on that. And
Yeah, I'll make this comment very briefly because what we did was someone had come across this particular clause ordinance and it had a sunset on it. We thought there was a remote possibility you folks may be able to extend it. However, we did reach out to the town's land use attorney, Bill Landry, and he said it's in his opinion reinstating an expired sunset provision into the zoning ordinance has to follow the same course as any other amendment to the ordinance. So that means it has to go through the hearing process and stuff like that. So at this point, there is really nothing you can do with this. We need to go through the process as if it was amendment, as any other amendment with the amendment to the ordinance.
Thank
So we just found this out late this afternoon. So we'll get back to you on this one.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Does anybody have any questions? No?
Nope.
Okay. Mark, you all good?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I see Sven and Keith, they're okay with that. Item number,
Excuse me, I have a question about that.
okay, go ahead, Marley.
No, never mind. I'll withdraw it. Thank you.
You're
Sorry
welcome.
about that.
So, item number 3 on the agenda, set town council goal setting session for 21-22, continued from December 16th, 2020. We had discussed setting goals, and that would, carry us on through the next upcoming months. So that's what that agenda item is about. Does anybody want to start that off?
Do you want me to make a few comments prior to you folks jumping in?
Yeah.
It's not unusual. It's quite unusual to be honest with you. When a new council starts after an election, they meet with the town manager and they go through some goal settings. And the goals that they're looking to set, you have to keep in mind. First of all, you don't want 50 goals to set. You really probably would want to narrow it down to 3, 4, 5, maybe 6, 7 goals you may want to set depending on what the particular goal is. And you may want to possibly set up a timeline for that goal to be achieved. It may be 6 months, it may be a year, it may be 18 months, it may be 2 months. And as we go through the process and we come up with these goals, as a council and a town manager with staff, we'll work on these goals. We'll report back to you at some point in time and say, you know what? The particular goal that you have asked for, that you have set, it appears that because of these reasons, it may take a little longer or we may take less. So it's really the goals that the council would like to put forth. And for the next 2 years during your tenure as council members, I will make notes as to what you folks have talked about and see if we can collectively massage the thought process and come up with goals that we can agree to that the council would like to accomplish in the coming year. Adopt a budget, that's a given. So there's some things that are given. There's some goals that, to build a Taj Mahal clearly would not be something we'd be interested in doing. So we have to keep in mind that the goal setting and the goals we're looking to set, have to be manageable, reasonable within the fiscal budget or the fiscal constraints, and also obviously in compliance with state statutes or anything else that or any other contracts we have in place. If it's personnel related, keep in mind we have union contracts and things of that nature. So at this point, I will turn it over to the council and we'll talk through this.
Are we here to discuss these goals this evening, or are we here to set a session for these goal settings?
I have no problem with if you want to come up and set some, or if you want to do a session, that's fine. I'll leave that to you folks.
Counselors?
I put a menu together
Ben?
of goals.
I too have put some together, but I think, Andre, to your point, I think if we can get all these sort of on a piece of paper, quote unquote, Marianne suggested that, then maybe we have the next work session or a next meeting where we can review them and potentially whittle them down. I mean, maybe we can massage them now, to use Marianne's words. But it may take the next work session to actually get it down to 5, or like Marianne said, 3 or 6 or whatever.
And
So I'm ready to.
Yeah.
um,
Like Mary Ann said, this is very helpful. It reminded me with the Health Services Board. And the first thing we said was, yes, we're setting goals, but we're also setting limitations. So we have to stay realistic. And my menu, I believe, is realistic. And it's on long-term items that I'd like to see get addressed. So I'll start if you want me to.
I want
Actually-
you to start.
Oh, no,
Yes,
I
Andre?
what I was going to say, Andre, is I believe, and Mark just mentioned long term. I believe these should sort of be big and audacious, meaning, a small goal like passing a budget. To Marianne's point, that's process. That's sort of here coming. But I guess I'm thinking, hey, what is it we really want to make headway on? And Marianne's point, if we finish it, great. If we don't finish it, we made a lot of traction. But these are big ideas, I hope. I mean, that's my thinking.
Okay.
So.
Wait a minute, is Keith here? I don't see his picture. There he is. I got it.
I'm here.
I got you. Thank you. Well, Mark, go ahead. Mark.
All right, I have 5 just for discussion purposes. The first one, I'll certainly not run again in 2 years if we haven't remedied the Old Harbor Triangle dilemma.
Okay,
And-
can I just stop you there? We do have on our docket a complete legal update, one of our work sessions for everything that we have legal in the town. We just got to schedule that. So that would be part of that.
Okay, that's fine. Let's start.
Yeah,
Deer eradication. No longer can we talk about reduction. Every single agenda seems to have the D word on it. Every single year we spend too much time, effort, and money on this deer problem. I want to see the Deer Task Force renamed the Deer Eradication Task Force with the end goal similar to what JFK did in the 60s, when the bold JFK, not the naughty JFK, said we will be on the moon by the end of the decade. I think we can get rid of the deer by the end of this decade, if not sooner. And I'd like to set that as a long-term goal. I'd like to resurrect number 3, bike lanes, or some kind of widening of our roads. It's so sad. And I guess I speak so passionately about it because I had to scrape up so many people for almost 20 years because of something that can be addressed and can be prevented or improved, certainly upon. Composting. Boy, there's something that I can't believe we haven't done already. God, every other community seemed to have done it. We're just, I mean, we're one of the 12 great places in the country because we've married the environment and the economy, yet we don't have the gold standard for composting. And kind of in no order, but certainly probably near the top of the list is to take back Weldon's Way. Those are my 5 to start the ball rolling.
Thank you, Mark. Anybody want to discuss those, or you just want to put them in the docket? I see there's 2 hands up. Go ahead, Sven.
I was going to say, I think we should just keep listing them out, and to Marianne's massaging, it may be the 3 of us are saying a version of the same thing. So.
Okay.
Keith?
Sort of following on from what Sven just said, and certainly from what Mark said, my primary one embodies some of Mark's, and I'm sure I'm not unique in that regard because I had a hard time titling this, but we I think this is both a very, very near-term goal and a long-term goal of figuring out our traffic and congestion issues. And that ranges from bikes to mopeds to cars to pedestrians to, I mean, that's why, like, I guess I could have probably had 15 different items, but that would all sort of fall under that heading. So I just,
I think we all had that one, or I had.
yeah, I mean, as I say, it's not unique, I'm sure.
I have that one too.
Yeah,
Let me,
sure.
I guess I'll just keep going. I'll say I had 4. One was eradicate deer. One was significantly improve traffic flow, congestion, safety, which Keith just nailed. 2 others that I had, and I'm going to just sort of talk as a concept, really an effort around year-round economic development. And I'm not talking about, houses being built, so therefore it's a great year for contractors. But how do we have sort of sustainable, ongoing employment here in the winter more than we've had in the past? And then the last one is something I'm incredibly passionate about. And the only way I could try and phrase it was managed development. And what I mean by managed development is, how do we keep Block Island the place we love? Right now, there are and really it was touched into with the planning board and a discussion on the overlook, but do we have the right sewer, water, roads, walkways, meaning sidewalks, all that, as now 3 major developers in the last 16 months have become part of Block Island's fabric. And in the last year, there has been a significant increase in the application for special use permits for houses being built. So larger houses are being built. And I'm not saying anything's wrong with any of those, but the fabric is changing. And I want to make sure that we don't just let things happen and we in 10 years say, oh, shoot, how did we get here? So do we have the right water supply? I think we are all part of, or many of us were part of a discussion when suddenly the water requirements for the beach house and that group got very big. Right sewer structures, right roads, the width of roads. I mean, I think between Champlain's and New Harbor, with the Champlain sale and the boat basin and more housing there, oogly moogly. So I call it managed development. I don't know a better term, but I think we need something. And that's my 4.
Thank you, Sven. Martha? Martha, are you there? Martha? All right. Keith, go ahead.
I would just say, first of all, that my list for goals and my list for work sessions did kind of overlap one another. So I apologize, but I agree with Sven. I would phrase it differently. I do think we need to have a very broad-based planning conversation, and I'm worried that we're late. So I consider this very much a near-term goal, and I, by the way, include in that a conversation around what we anticipate to be the impact of access to very high-speed internet and what the implications of that are for our year-round community. Because I think we're all big supporters of that infrastructure, but I do think there are likely to be some rather significant changes in what our town looks like as a result of that, as people are able to do virtually any job they want, I think. It's a bit of an overstatement, while being in a house out here with high-speed internet. I think, again, you could sort of put this under planning, but Andrea, you did some of the same stuff I did last summer working at harbors. I think we need to have some real concrete goals about what we want our harbors and our harbor facilities to look like. We have, it's amazing when you go around the pond to talk to people. I mean, I know it's been talked about for years, but we really, you got to tell people that even though they're paying us for a week on a mooring, they have to take a cab or walk over to Town Beach to get a decent shower. You know what I mean? We got to figure that out. I think. I don't know. I don't have a great solution for it, but this is not a conversation about solutions necessarily. The other thing that I have either as a goal or a work session, I think at least I spend a lot of time assuming what I think that young members of our community want. I assume it's affordable housing. I assume it's stuff to do with schools. I assume it's stuff to do with job opportunities. I assume it's stuff having to do with transportation back and forth across the mainland. I don't know. But I really do think if we want to preserve our foundation for the next few decades, we ought to figure out a way to hear and listen to what the population of young single people, young married people with families, sort of what kind of a community they want, and how we plan for and implement that. That's my thing.
Thanks, Keith. Do we have Martha back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, do you have any input on this discussion?
Yes, I do. I think that I tend to look at this in perhaps a broader view, and I'm not sure there's anything the town could even do to deal with the things that I see as the biggest problems out here. One of them is the total fracturing of the community that everyone loves to talk about, but in reality, everybody's got their own little, boutique nonprofit, however many we've gotten out here now. And I just don't feel like we are cohesive. We're great in a crisis, but that's not what it's about. It just isn't. I think that land use is something we have to look at, and I spent a lot of time the last few weeks, really, Christmas time, where there are lights on in houses, where there aren't lights on in houses, and I'm afraid we're doing the same thing that we did decades ago when they put the sewer in and everybody worried about what was going to happen downtown. Downtown is kind of self-controlled right now. We've already talked about the water and the sewer. And meanwhile, what is going on in the outlying district? What do we have? And I'm not talking about making 10-acre zoning, because like somebody who's actually got some skin in the game to talk about that for changes. There people have 0.5 acres, but that's a whole other thing. I think we have to have a better cooperation with businesses, and I don't really know how to facilitate that either, but we just need to talk to people and make some effort to not and I felt like last time was a good example of what we're dealing with. I think a lot of this is dealing with windmills, we're dealing with cobwebs, we're dealing with things that aren't exactly clear and out there, and I think that's really come to the fore with COVID. And I use it as an example. Periodically, I go on the Vacation by Rental Owner website, and the number of houses that are available, like next week, I think there were 21, and I know some of them were just people who didn't bother to take them down, but others, I think people will, hey, if my house is here, I'll rent it. And that's where, when we talk about code, we talk about controls, we talk about all of the stuff, and working with the businesses is great, but how many people come in that we have no idea who they are, where they're coming from, what routine steps they're bypassing. And I just feel like there's this whole underground economy out here that isn't the underground economy everyone talks about when they talk about underground economy. And look at Nantucket and look at the problems that they're having. And granted, they're always got bigger problems. But one of the big issues they've got out there are these big houses that are rented to 10, 12, 15 people for, $80,000 a week. And then people who do that make so much money, they buy another one, and it ends up just being a business, and you're losing the fabric when, and people have always rented their houses. People rent their houses and go somewhere else and, pay their mortgage. That's not what we're looking at now. We're looking at this big business that has nothing to do with the community, has no, paying taxes is not really being part of the community. My concerns are much broader. I think I'm thinking more philosophically, and I truly don't know how to begin to address these things. Some of the things that were spoken about earlier, I think are obviously big issues. But again, even the traffic, that ties back to this huge rental industry out here, where people have 5 cars at a house because of 4 families in a 10-bedroom house, and we can put these rules down, but it just doesn't seem. It seems like there's the world of the handful of people who actually follow the rules, and there's everybody else who didn't even bother.
Thanks, Martha. Certainly.
I'm sorry, I don't have anything more definitive, but I just feel like there were so many things that we're not even looking at because we're kind of going by not whatever the opposite of bright and shiny is, the horrid and the dark. You're still missing so much of everything that's happening.
Yeah, thank you. I certainly agree, and I certainly agree with what everyone has said here tonight. And I think, from my additions to this hopper is that, it's different being the first warden than being a counselor. It's my job to take all of these ideas and make them happen. It's make them happen, to bring them to the next level after the discussion with you guys. Take them upstate if we need to. So what I kind of want to concentrate on is, in my own position here, is having an extremely tight council that can respect each other. And I think I'm not saying that that's not happening, because it certainly is. And I'm absolutely thrilled at our interactions so far, although it hasn't been many meetings. But I think my job and goal is to keep us all together and have the debate. Like I said the other night, I think we had a really great debate. We disagreed on a lot of things, but we came out of that meeting with good policy for the town, and not avoiding each other the next day. And I think that's really a big plus, because I've been here long enough to see councils that were just so explosive, and just so, it didn't mesh. It didn't gel. And I guess my fear, worry, goal is that I'm going to be in charge of something like that, and that's not something I have any interest in. So I'm going to bend over backwards to make sure none of that happens. I want you guys all to have input on agendas. So I think in the next couple of weeks or tops, we're going to come out with days and times where agenda items need to be in the office by X time. We don't have that right now, just to get things to move more efficiently that way. And your items will make agendas when they're, some of them might be ready right away. Somebody might have a great idea, but sometimes agenda items need to be discussed with the town manager and the staff. And they'll be put before the council when, after that happens, and there's actually something to talk about. A goal of mine is to, we discussed the shopping stroll at length and how I don't know if it was a year ago or what have you, but how that could be more of a seasonal event instead of a week event. And I think that goes to what Sven is saying is, and Ken did actually say it too when he was here, economic development. And I think we could do more community orientated things like have a longer shopping stroll, have a downtown, core downtown during the holiday season, like we did this year actually, but nobody, it was just unfortunate that we were in a COVID year. But I think we could have a more, I don't know how, I guess I'm searching for the right word for it, but, and I always go back to how wonderful the Fall Fest was that we used to have with the old cars. We used to, with all the events that held. It was a wonderful event that lasted a weekend. And it got every single person in this community out, no matter what event was going on. Obviously, we haven't been around each other. In fact, I was in the COVID testing line the other day, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is the biggest community event that I have been to in over 2 years. And I know COVID's only been here for a year, but I don't think we have enough community events. And I think that would tie into the arts. I think it would tie into economic development. I know some people have already approached me about supporting the state council on the arts budget for certain items. And that's another thing. And our legislative agenda, we need to discuss that ASAP because it's coming. It's on the radar. I got it on my radar, but we do have items like the interconnect, that we haven't discussed about arguing again. The Uber legislation, and we need to have the opportunity to go, fight for our townsfolk for those kind of things. And I forget now, I think it was Martha, maybe remind me, but we had 3 items for the legislative agenda we go for the past 3 years. One was the Uber, one was the interconnect, and one was affordable housing, the housing board. I just think we can't lose sight of those things that we have been discussing for a couple of years. But I agree with all your goals. I agree that, all of what you want to do, but I think it all ties in together of having a better community to live in. And I think that's my fundamental goal in the next 2 years is just make those improvements however we possibly can. So there aren't concrete things, but I think, like I said, Keith mentioned the traffic issues. There's movement on that. I think Mary Ann has been working really hard with the staff on that. And I think we're going to get presented with a plan that pretty soon that we're going to be talking about for a couple of meetings. Year on economic sustainable employment. I see Weldon's Way on that. That's also in the hopper. That's been working on composting. I think I don't think that's as hard as it sounds. I think we have an opportunity there, and I think that can move forward quite soon, actually. Bike lanes, I agree with that. We talked about the triangle as we can schedule. I think Kathy's still here, and Mary Ann and Molly. I do want to have that litigation update for the town councilors as soon as we possibly can, because we have 2 new ones, and Mark can get that update there, and we can move forward or not on that. I mean, I think basically at that point, Mark, the answer to that triangle is it's still in litigation as far as I know. But we could, I don't know what we could do to move it forward, but we can talk about it. Deer eradication, at our last meeting, we could have appointed a few other people to the deer task force, but I think we need a work session on that to hash out, like you said, you favor the eradication. I think we need people on that board. We need to choose, we need to look and see who we think we need on that board. Right now we have 2 hunters. Do we want another hunter? Do we want scientists? I don't know. I think now we have the opportunity to do that. And how long has deer been talked about and talked about? And but I'm willing to do it. It's like moorings back in the day. Like it was deer and moorings, and thank God moorings isn't there anymore. But now deer still is. I'm hoping we can get that taken care of during our council tenure here. And I'll work hard to do it. But all those things, I agree with Martha. There's just kind of like an overarching, where do we want to be as a community in the next couple of years? And that's what we'll work towards. So I think I've given you some of mine. I think you guys have a lot, but I think just to create a community, to maintain the community, and to maintain the character we have, I think that's the goal that I'm looking for. And that's all I really have to say. I'm sorry I don't have any specifics on that, because there are, I guess I gave you a few, but if you're going to ask me how I'm going to do it, we're going to work as a team to do that. And I really think this is the team to do it right now. And we better do it quick before it all goes to.
Andre, here's something that might help everybody out. And I'm going to highlight my wonderful 100-year-old father, who was an original CB over in Davisville at Quonset Point. The CB's motto was "Can Do," but there's extra that people don't know. There's an apostrophe or a comma. It's "Can Do, the impossible takes a little longer." Don't let anyone tell you that we can't do it. I mean, just go from the north end to the south end. Imagine if someone told Robbie and Gil and the rest of the wonderful people on North Light Committee that we couldn't resurrect the North Light. Imagine if someone told John Brotherhood and Claire Costello and the wonderful people associated with Great Salt Pond Committee that we can't clean up that pond. Imagine if someone told Mary and Nancy, you're going to build a medical center, and all the wonderful people associated with that construction. Now, I can go on, but remember that. Don't let anyone tell you something is impossible.
Thanks, Mark. Sven, did you have a comment? I know Keith does too, but go ahead, Sven. He's on mute. Sven, you're muted.
Sven, you're muted.
I think we should.
Sorry, Andre. I hope you enjoyed that. No, I was complimenting you because I said that I think what you sort of captured is that I try to say in the place we all love, and I think that's where I was trying to come from in managing development is how do we make sure that as all of these engines that are now running on the island that we didn't have before, and actually Keith mentioned broadband, that's going to be an engine of its own that we need to just sort of make sure everything from revenue streams to how and who, and I think it all weaves together. And I guess my hope is out of this, because I think we just had a lot of really good input, that Mary Ann, given her role, maybe we can put all this together, try and bundle them into a few things, a la congestion, bike lanes, traffic, mopeds, Weldon's Way, how do we bundle them into a couple of things so that they become real projects? And I don't mean that that's a simple thing. It may be a 10-year project, but it's like, hey, let's get a team of, staff, obviously, and professionals or whatever it requires to get it done. But I agree with everybody. None of this is beyond our reach. None of it.
Nope.
I'm excited about that.
Thank you. No, thank you, Ken. Sven, go ahead, Keith.
I just, I don't want us to lose sight of what Martha was talking about, because I think we all feel it. And it can be difficult to convert that kind of gut level feeling about sort of the community, for lack of a better description, into into necessarily into concrete things, but I thought, you know, we all want to focus on stuff, and you said this too, Andre, but really this is about livable community and ensuring that the ties that we all value so much continue to exist. So I just wanted to not lose sight of you know, Martha's 5 minutes there, because I just thought it was really compelling, and we need to sort of have that as an overarching sense of purpose.
Thank you. And I agree. I think we're in a time right now where, God, I can't, I'm having a deja vu moment, like March 2nd meeting where, like right now, you know, this COVID thing, the community's anxious, the community's scared, the community, it was the whole fear of the unknown. And I don't think that's gone away with what we've known. I think a lot of people have gotten slack about it and just kind of like put it off because it's gone too long, gotten sick of it. But on the other end of this, when this is finally gone, like I would just hate to have lingering effects from that, where people don't get out, because they're so used to living like alone and you know, so I think we should be ready, you know, with endeavors, if you will, to build the community, to build our community up, you know, as it is. And that's it. I won't go on and on about that. I think you get the point, but I'd said this before. I think we're, you know, it's coming out of the other end of this, I think is a huge opportunity to make so many changes, and to identify what was wrong, not wrong, but where there could be help. And I think we're going to do that. I think we're all cognizant of the fact of that. And I think we can do that. And that's all I'll say.
Okay, Andre?
Go ahead, Martha.
There is one other thing that I think we probably should get, you know, kind of going into this. And as I said something to somebody the other day, and I can't remember what we were even talking about, some kind of project about something, I don't remember. No, it was a charter. And what I was talking about earlier, financial implications that you have to consider. And I said, because we've got broadband coming up, and that is going to be expensive. And it's going to be a long-term expense. And the response is, well, that's a couple of years from now. And back in the 80s, when we did a boatload of stuff, we also had more flexibility because we did not have anywhere near the kind of debt we have today. Yeah, the community is richer now, but, you know, proportionally, the debt is much larger also. And I think we need to have an idea of where we are and what's realistic. And I mean, back then, you know, for 3 years, the town put $100,000 in the budget every year for the medical center, which is one of the things Mark referenced. And that's the kind of thing that was just, you know, seed money to get going. We bought the Davidson house. I mean, the town paid, it was $500,000 right there. And it feels like there's so much we have now that's so much more expensive than it used to be, that we've got to keep that in mind. And I think that's the thing that gets lost, because people either think it's a community of rich summer people, or it's a community of very comfortable retired people, or it's a community of folks who have affordable housing. But there's a lot of people that don't fit into that mix. And I don't like to see that. I mean, I feel that because I'm one of those people that doesn't fit into that. Mark doesn't fit into that mix, and we, you know, you got to keep that in mind too. We can't price people out of our town.
Right, exactly. And I you know, to speak to that, like I just remember one day last August when it was just awful. I was like, I'm going to go to town and I'm going to go look at my town. And it was horrendous. There were people passed out. You had left work. There was just a group of 4 people. I got down to that stop sign. There was a group of like 4 people. 2 of them passed out in front of Malcolm's door. I parked the car.
That's what happens when I leave. I go home and go sit down.
I won't comment. No, that's all right. But I just remember walking through town and everything was just horrendous. I parked underneath the church. I walked through town and it was just, I don't want to go back to that. I don't need to describe what last August was like on Block Island, but I was standing in front of the chamber. I was walking toward the chamber through the parking lot, just taking it all in. And amongst all that mess was some guy with a horn playing the theme to Sesame Street. And to me, like, that's the Block Island that I knew. Amongst all this chaos, we've got this, Bahamian, like in the middle of town, playing the theme to Sesame Street on a horn. And I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? Amongst all this mess, we're all right. And we're going to be all right because this is who we are. But it's like,
Andre, people complained about that guy.
well, I won't, and I'll do everything I can on every street corner because that's what we are. We're
I agree with you.
So, anyway, go ahead. Anybody else? Sven, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, should we go on? Because I think it's going to dovetail pretty quickly into the work sessions.
Yeah, I think we're good with that discussion. But like I said, like last week, we just have wonderful. I'm really enjoying the conversations that we have as a group. So I didn't want to stop it. But we should. So we need to. Item number 4 is establish a town council work session topic plan for the next 6 months. So are we taking all this into the next 6 months, or because I know there's a lot of things in the next maybe month or two that we have kind of in the docket, but go ahead, Sven.
I was going to say, I've got a couple of work sessions that I would love to put on the list that whether 6 months, 9 months, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of suggestions and some dovetail, some don't. But can I just read them? And then Marianne and Andre, as we set all these work sessions together, we can keep these in mind maybe. One of them is, well, I'll just read them all, but some are obvious. I think congestion mopeds. I know Marianne's planning to have a work session or a meeting coming up, so it may already be there. Also would like to have a meeting soon with a work session with the land trust. That may be in closed session, but I think it's really, really important. I'd love to have a work session with and about the power company. Now that Martha and I are representatives, I don't know what happened there, Andre, but anyway.
That would be Light and Power, not
what?
the power.
Oh, sorry. Well, okay. Yeah, Island Light and Power. I was just saying power company. Another one that I'd really like to do is I would love for all of us to have a work session with Robbie and Lisa Nolan, and all of us to go to the North Light and the Southeast Light together. And I think it would be really a recognition of all the work that's been done, the awards that have just been won or granted or whatever you want to call it. And I think they're some of our biggest assets, greatest assets, special assets, and all of us to sort of take that into consideration. I don't know that many of us have been to both of them up towers and seen that. I think we should do that and pay tribute a little bit. I know it's a wacky one, but
That's quite all right.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Am I open here?
Yep, you're on.
Because one of the things that actually I thought served a very good purpose in the past was going around. The manager would lead this a facilities tour. Just you get a handle on what's needed when you're talking about budgetary issues. You give the folks who are working there a sense that, okay, at least we know where the water company is. We did water company, sewer plant, obviously town hall, Coast Guard station, North Light was on that list. That's what made me think of it. The library, the fire station, all of the, just a collective view of everything. So you don't have, I was over at the police station and I saw this, or somebody else, looked at a different window and you're talking about two different things. It takes you half an hour to figure out you're talking about two different windows. And that sort of thing, that might be something we want to do. if we can somehow manage how to do that. We'll all be outside. We'll all be outside all the time. That's how we can do it.
Thank you, Martha.
Great build on that. And I just think, Robbie and the Northlight Commission have done such an incredible job. Lisa and that group, such an incredible job. So yeah, even further, love it.
There's actually heat in the Southeast Lighthouse right now with walls. It's crazy.
You moving over?
Don't give him a
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not going to discount anybody else's ideas or my menu, but if I had to prioritize, I definitely want to see the Old Harbor Triangle put on as soon as possible so we can remedy that. Because I know the other items on my agenda are going to take some time, but must be started as soon as possible.
And I do have some, does anybody else have? Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of mine have already been mentioned. I really want the Island Light and Power work session to be pretty soon. A, I'd like to learn more about it. B, I'd like to see what challenges they're seeing. C, I think, I'm curious about whether there are synergies with the build out of broadband that mesh well with what some of the stuff they're doing. So I think that's an important one. The legal update, I actually had spoken with Marianne about. That would be really, really helpful. Even if, I think we should all do it, but I know that we have outstanding legal issues, and I'd like to know about them and their history and background. And then the one that hasn't been mentioned yet that I think is important is it meshes with something that Martha was saying during our conversation about the charter. I think we need to have a conversation about the town's IT infrastructure. That not broadband and all that. I'm talking about like town hall and employees and council members and how the public accesses our systems, online permitting and, what are the ways that we can, for example, make Molly and Millie's and Jen Brady's and others' jobs and lives easier while also making all of our lives easier. So, the website, how is the website working? How's that going to roll out? All those sorts of things I think are very important. So anyway, that's another idea. Thank you.
We have 8 items right now. And obviously Molly and Marianne have items that for current work sessions that are things that have already been in the hopper. I have a couple that I'm not ready to let out yet because they're not ready. So we're looking at like 10 items here in the immediate future, including what's already in the hopper for what's from coming through town. Do we want to keep going? Do we want to leave that as it is?
I think that's enough to chew on a while.
How soon are we going to a legal review? Because I think that's especially to the triangle.
Kathy's here. I will let that get scheduled. I will just say to Molly and Marianne, this is, I think, our first meeting, or after the first meeting, I suggested that we have a legal update for all the new counselors and us. So whenever Kathy and, whenever you can get that together, I'd really appreciate getting that done just to get everybody up to speed on those topics. I'm not going to say when, just a priority.
Kathy had mentioned that to me soon after you folks were elected, of having a legal update. I think, let me talk to Kathy and let me see how long she thinks it would take to do something like that. And maybe we may have to split it up and do 2 different sessions or something like that. But let me spend some time with Kathy and get that one moving sooner than later. We may have to set up special work session, not one that is already planned in the calendar for that, because I think it's important.
Yeah, it is important. Sven, go ahead. Mary Ann, you all set?
Yeah.
Sven, go ahead. He's muted. I'm going to start reading Martha's articles when he's muted.
I think, sorry, I think what you said, Andre, is really important, which is that we are working together as a group really well now. And there's been more discussions on a council meeting than I've had in a while. So this is really, really healthy. I have no problem with doubling up for a couple of months on work sessions and increasing a couple of meetings. You know, I know already we've got the moped discussion because Mary Ann's been planning on that. You know, we've got a number of things that we got to do soon. And if that means we need 3 meetings in the next 4 weeks, whatever's so, you know, important. And I think everybody's on the same page. Legal review, starting that congestion thing, you know, a couple of things. So I have no problem in having more meetings.
Easy there, Tiger.
And just for the record, if anybody would like a more detailed briefing on aspects of the proposed charter, I'd be pleased to do that again.
Oh, I know it. I know it all by heart.
May not get a second.
I mean, it's a script to me. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay.
Oh, goodness.
Well, Andre,
Sorry.
Andre, let me tell you something that's really, really encouraging to me and really recharge my batteries to run again. Someone mentioned previous town councils. I was on a very dysfunctional town council. I've apologized for being guilty by association with that council. We wasted time on things we should not have wasted time. I'm encouraged by the lineup we have now that we will not waste time, that we'll direct that valuable time towards something with a realistic end goal.
Momo, Mark, I'm going to quote Sister Alice in 8th grade, and she always said, "Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are." So you can't disassociate yourself from those councils. You were there; they were your friends. No, I agree. I'm kidding. I get that, I'm excited about that too. You know, I feel as though we're having a conversation in someone's living room, having a laid back conversation. We're gonna get the work. You know, your living room, because it looks kind of nice in there, Mark. The only thing missing is a turkey dinner. So that's that. Does anybody else want to say anything, or
Do we need to do minutes?
Not on the agenda.
Well, we were going to continue them. I didn't go through them. I'm not ready. I'll be honest.
I'm willing to push them. If it's okay with Molly, let's push them off to the next meeting.
Will you, let's see, Sven, yeah, do that. Sven and Martha, I think there's a couple on there that we may have already seen before. So just if you think that, let Molly know.
Fine by me. You may have more by the time you get to approving them.
That's what I'm thinking, that we'll get a few more. And I know
A
you're
little bit too deep. I'd love to do that.
wait a
Yes.
little bit. Is Sister Alice looking at you? Who are you looking at, Mark? All right. Anything else? Work session topic plan for the next 6 months? I'm not sure we covered 6 months, but you know, things will pop up too.
I think we covered.
But you know we didn't do? Review of the rules of procedure.
Well, I think that's going to be a work session topic, and that's what.
That's a work session topic.
Yeah, that was a work. That's one of the items I was talking about. I have a couple things like that I'm thinking about that I'm not ready yet with, and that's definitely one of them. So there's that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Nobody wants to leave. Somebody want to make a motion to adjourn? Mary Ann, do you have any final comments? Molly?
No, what I was doing was looking at the workshop schedule and look at the comments you made, and I just started dropping things in places where I think we can have some of these work sessions. And there's some redundancy, so I may come back to you after a little while towards next fall and say we need some more topics, because you get a lot of redundant. I've seen a lot of repeats power company, facilities, legal, IT. So I've seen some similar ones or the same thing. So let me put together a schedule and get it to you folks, and you can make some comments on it. Or juggle stuff around, we'll put on a little spreadsheet or something.
Yeah, and I think just, it's easy. Sometimes you drive down the road and you're like, oh, I just thought of something.
Yeah.
You get that on there.
And legal, I'm going to make one of the first ones. I'm going to try getting that scheduled right away. I have some thoughts on that, so I need to talk to Kathy before I finalize.
I think if I want to leave the council with something about this topic, I would say, let's not be reactionary anymore. Let's try to look forward and identify, the potholes we might be having. And that's it. I think we went through a whole summer last year with COVID, and I do blame COVID because things were moving so fast, but we did a lot of reactionary things. And how in many areas, I'm sure all the businesses are sitting there looking at us right now saying, yeah, no doubt. However, it goes back to what Martha said, let's set up a work session with the businesses before the summer. Let's set up the business. I mentioned the other night.
Excellent.
We'll set up a work session with the Tourism Council because, if they'll meet with us, because like I said, we have some ideas about them. We had a lot of, we talked about that the other night briefly, but I'd like to have a conversation with the Tourism Council before we go into the summer. So it's things like that. Non-reactionary, I guess that'll be our motto.
Proactive.
Well, that's everybody's. That's everybody says.
Oh, we just got to pull it off. All right.
Everybody says, and then COVID hits.
Exactly. That's why I'm just thinking with so much we can positive
Sometimes you have to be.
coming out of this. I know, but I think coming out with many positive things that we've learned and negative things that we've learned, and hopefully we won't repeat. Anyway, motion
If we're out of COVID.
I hate to say it, but motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Well, I guess we're adjourned on our January 6th. Happy birthday to my sister. Today's her birthday. All right. Well, I thank you all. I thank Mary Ann. I thank Sean. I thank Molly, Mark, everybody, Sean, Molly O'Neill, Keith, Kathy, everybody who's been here for the duration. Certainly appreciate it. If any of you have any input,
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
job well done, Andre.
have it. Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night.
Take care, everybody. Bye.
We don't have to have another meeting tomorrow, right? Just to be clear for the rest of the counselors, we're all good with the resolutions and everything. And okay, good. All right.
We just meet anyway, though.
Yeah.
Good night.
See you later.
Again, now. Thank John Boy.
All going to Martha's. We're gonna read her card.